It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring
Fillmore's finest, Monte Hill. The pride of the Excelsior, Joe Butcher Boy Shasky. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, the morning roast.
It's kind of strange that we didn't have a Niner and Warrior game yesterday, but it was a good day and a great sports weekend nevertheless. World Series champion gets crowned. Shout out to Dusty Baker and the Houston Astros. More specifically, shout out to Dusty Baker. A lot of great college football, a lot of good NFL games yesterday, including last night as Patrick Mahomes put on the show in the second half and wheeled the Kansas City Chiefs to another big-time win on Sunday Night Football. Shasky, what is happening?
I mean, man, it was a great sports weekend. I found myself in front of the couch as it was wet, cold conditions out there in the Bay Area, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, absolutely thoroughly. Where do you want to start? You want to start with baseball?
We go wherever you want to go. You want to start with baseball?
Well, I mean, the free agency is about to start up, and I've got notes on every beat. I've got you hear that? I don't know if the mic's picking it up. There we go. I've got an entire notepad full of notes. NFL notes. I've got NBA notes. I've got things galore. Let's start here with baseball. Number one, Dusty Baker. Look, you're the same age as I am, and Roger Craig was the manager before Dusty Baker for the San Francisco Giants. It felt like in the early 90s, as a diehard Giants fan, even as a young man, they're on their way out the door. Felt like they were going to leave St. Petersburg. And I remember opening up the Chronicle in the kitchen one day in the Sporting Green and seeing the mocked up jerseys for the St. Petersburg Giants. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And they get Dusty Baker and Barry Bonds in the same offseason. And it felt like a culture change. And it felt like that was the thing that flipped the script for me. And one of my favorite teams of all time is the 93 Giants. I don't care that they didn't win a championship. They're the seminal team that helped create the wild card. They made me into the diehard Giants fan that I am today. And I look at Dusty Baker as somebody who just exudes cool. And yeah, I know, he for years was the Marty Schottenheimer of baseball. He'll get you to the playoffs, but he'll lose in horrific fashion. And to hear him talk about Game 6 and how he had to sleep Game 5 going into Game 6 and think about the Game 6s, NLCS, Cubs, and Marlins. Giants, World Series, 2002. And then now he finally gets his opportunity. It's just, it's incredible. And I know that a lot of people don't like the Astros, and that's fine. But for Dusty Baker, man, I mean, that's just what an incredible baseball life this guy's lived.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And to see Dusty at 73 years old finally get his due after over 2,000 wins, not blowing in the World Series. And Yordan Alvarez with the big blast, so much power there to put the Astros through. And a great World Series. It was a very well played, very entertaining World Series that ended Saturday night. So I'm happy for Dusty. By the way, good morning to everybody out there getting off their graveyard shifts. It's a little wet out there, a little rainy.
Yeah,
that fall weather's coming out. I see all the leaves on the streets, which is a lot of fun. Baby Chaz got to play in the leaves yesterday, which I was like, fall, my type of season.
Nice.
Well, good morning, everybody out there.
Oh, it's your season.
Yeah, it is my season. Well, I'm an all-season guy, especially in San Francisco where we don't have a season.
Okay, so you went from fall is my season
fall
to
is
I'm
my
an
season
all-season
too.
guy.
You know what? It's just the weather. Like, you're in the city, 60 degrees, crisp air, leaves all over the ground, kind of wet. I love this type of weather. I'm not a guy who loves the sun, who wants to be out there by the beach. This is my type of weather. Hoodie season, Pico season, as we say in the city of San Francisco, or heck, in the Bay Area. Everybody says that in the Bay Area. But good morning to everybody out there getting off their graveyard shift, teachers, students, firefighters, cops. Lutman, who's wearing a nice little Charlie Ward jersey today because Florida State beat up on the U. It wasn't even close. I was actually disappointed because Florida State, Miami, whenever that game, you saw it on the calendar, you circled it, and it usually meant down to the wire, hard-hitting, physical, entertaining football. Miami didn't even show up.
Tyler Van Dyke went from a first-round draft pick prospect to, I don't even know,
I'm wondering where he's going to transfer to this offseason. That's how.
But he's like 23, isn't he?
No, I think he's like 2021. He was a redshirt freshman last year. So, I mean, he's still got time to move around, but Yeah, I was always disappointed. I think Bobby Bowden once said it best after '97. It's a shame that the rivalry's gotten to this point right now.
Yeah, it is a shame. Mike Norvell was looking good.
Was boring.
That game was very boring. I switched it.
Even the Georgia-Tennessee game was boring because Georgia got up and it felt like Tennessee didn't have enough to fight back in it. Georgia's elite.
Yeah.
Bennett, speaking of guys that are like 30 years old,
Right.
Stenson Bennett.
But you know what, though?
I can't.
That first half, though, that environment,
No,
that
awesome.
crowd, and that defense, the fluster Tennessee.
Come on.
Tennessee committed 5 first-half false starts. 5 first-half false starts.
The hedges.
That crowd was rocking. And to see Georgia just hit them and slow down that high-powered offense, yeah, it is Georgia's championship to lose. Now, Ohio State, we'll see about them. We'll see about Michigan.
Oh.
Clemson loses.
Well, don't sleep on USC. I still think they got an outside shot here, and I would like to see them in it. To me, Caleb Williams is the best quarterback prospect in football. I know people are going to go with Bryce. I think he's a little small. I love Bryce. I love his feel. I worry about how thin he is. Caleb Williams, his feel for the game is spectacular. I've watched a lot of him this year. I was not a believer at first. He's completely won me over. I'm not some USC homer. Caleb Williams is the real deal.
You know, to be honest with you, I was actually more impressed with him at Oklahoma. Look, we'll see. He's got some big games ahead of him. When he was at Oklahoma, and he's the same guy, obviously. He's playing for Lincoln Riley. He can move around and stuff like that.
Defenses they're going
I've
up
seen
against
some of the clips I've seen every now and then. I'm like, all right, that's a little inaccurate. All right, he's forcing it to this guy. He's getting better and better. You got to remember, he's only played, like a full season now because he came midway through the season. I know, exactly. He's 19 years old.
He'll be a top 5 pick in a year and a half.
Doubt.
Right?
There's no doubt.
I'm just telling you, my feel, watching him, his feel for the game is spectacular.
Well, I'll tell you the feel I don't have. I mean, the guy who doesn't have a feel for the game, and he needs to leave. And his DJ out of Clemson.
Yeah.
I mean, they lose to Notre Dame. And Big B, shout out to Matt Payne. He's texting me like, I'm taking Notre Dame first half. So as a gambler, when you see a spread, it's the number 4 overall team going to Notre Dame. And we've all watched Notre Dame.
And Freeman has basically lost. They lost to Marshall, and they lost to some other random team.
They lost to Marshall. They lost to Stanford.
Yeah. But no, they lost to 2 random teams.
Yeah, well, Stanford's random this year. Did you see them give up 42 points at the half?
I mean,
David Shaw's got to go. Bye-bye. But as a gambler,
So weak.
As a gambler, but you know what? The Pac-12 is tied with the SEC for
I know,
5
because they've got
ranked
Oregon
teams.
up there.
I know,
and after they
yeah.
got their butt kicked by Georgia. I do not.
Nix.
Do you believe in Bo Nix?
Not really.
Okay.
But the gambling gods were basically screaming, take Notre Dame. Clemson's the number 4 team in the country playing Notre Dame, and they were only 3.5 point favorites. In Notre Dame, South Bend. But, Clemson travels. It's all good. Yeah. Big B texts me, goes, I'm slamming Notre Dame first half. This spread is way too fishy. Way too fishy. Now, I didn't have the gall to do that. I'm not betting against Clemson. But tracking it, I was like, oh, my God. Clemson looks terrible. Yeah. Terrible. And DJ, I don't know if it's the offense. I don't know if it's him. But he has regressed. From the last time he was at Notre Dame, he looked dynamic.
He did. This Clemson offense, and this goes back to Trevor Lawrence, and we'll get into the quarterbacks in the NFL because I got a little something for Justin Fields fans that are going crazy this morning.
I know. Talk to me.
No, but I watched that Clemson offense for many years, and this is why I was so high on Mike Williams, for example. Literally, their entire offense is shotgun, spread you out, slants, and it's just like staring down the barrel of the staring down the into the barrel. All they do is slants. Their offense is so boring.
Yeah, slants. Wide receiver screens, deep routes, and stick routes. That's it. That's all they do.
Very minimal offense, and that's why you're seeing Trevor's struggling. I'm just call it what it is. He's gotten a lot of starts, everything. He's struggling. I still like him. This thing that he was the best prospect since Andrew Luck, we can throw that out the window. But I'm not high on their offense, B. And when I look at some of these guys that are coming into the league, and this is why I like Caleb, I'm watching a guy who can deliver the ball in a variety of ways. He just has a better feel for how to get the ball down the field.
He's a solid player. He's a very, very solid player. Now, he's got some big games ahead of him. Played okay against Utah, the one game USC lost. Hopefully they make the Pac-12 championship, but I don't know. Utah's still knocking on the door, right? They're still knocking on the door. So hopefully Caleb, we could see him against a team like Ohio State. We could see him against a team like Michigan.
You will see USC against Ohio State. That's coming to a conference near you.
Unfortunately, next year, I want to see it. this year.
Yeah,
Now,
I
I'm
know,
looking
I'm
at
with
the
you.
conference. Since Pac-12, did they split? They're not 2 divisions anymore?
It used to be North-South.
They're not North-South anymore?
I don't know. They used to be. It used to be the South winner would play the North winner in the Pac-12 championship
So
game.
there are still 2 divisions, North and South,
Yeah.
but the way the championship game goes, it's top 2 teams regardless of division.
So they switched it. Yeah, because you kept getting like a 2 or 3 loss South team going up because that's where Oregon and Stanford were good back when Stanford had good seasons.
So they're really pushing. They really want. Well, Utah's going to play Oregon soon. And so maybe Oregon gets that loss. Maybe Utah can upset them and we get a USC-Utah rematch. Or we see USC-Oregon, UCLA-USC. That's another good contest there that they're going to play later on, the showdown in L.A. So Pac-12, not bad. I want to see Caleb against a tougher defense. Haven't played, who's USC played? Other than Utah.
In Utah, nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Yeah, I don't
Bonte. I think the Pac-12 sucks.
Yeah.
There's 2 teams that are good. Oregon, 3, I guess technically. Oregon, Utah, and USC. And I guess UCLA's got a good record. But does anybody believe in Chip?
Yeah.
I don't. Whatever. Anyway, enough of college football for a second. And I just want to
Brock Bowers, by the way. People want us to talk more about Brock Bowers.
Napa, California.
I love Brock Bowers.
Well, him and the other tight end
Washington,
for Georgia are
number
ridiculous.
0.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. Their entire team is ridiculous. I'm telling you, this is a quarterback. If they had a legit prospect at quarterback, we would look at them as one of the great teams of all time.
So I'm going to go back to baseball for a second because free agency will start
I got a
Thursday.
list.
Aaron Judge, Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon opted out of his deal. He's going to seek more money, more years. We see Diaz from the New York Mets re-signed with the Mets, 5 years, $100 million.
$102 million. Woo!
So that's big time money for a closer.
Closer?
Big time money for a closer. Don't know about that, but Cohen's going to spend a lot of money.
Yes.
The owner of the New York Mets, they're going to spend money. Anthony Rizzo opts out last night from the New York Yankees, first baseman. Wouldn't mind that as a lefty power hitter. He's a little up there, but we've watched Brandon Belt for the last decade.
Ponte. You would take Rizzo? Seriously, you're looking at this
I would take Rizzo.
for a multi-year deal?
Couple years.
He's 33, batted .225.
Yeah, I know, but he's got power. He's got power. Plate presence.
21
one year flyer.
time out.
1 year flyer.
21 of his 32 home runs this year would not have been home runs at 18.
I hear that. I hear you.
21 of them.
A flyer for Anthony Rizzo?
No, because it's not going to cost a flyer. This is a guy who wants to win and get paid simultaneously. And to me, I'd rather have Josh Bell, who I don't believe is as good right now as Anthony Rizzo, but Rizzo's going to be falling. That is a straight Sabian move to bring in 34-year-old at the beginning of the year, Anthony Rizzo.
For 1 year, I like Josh Bell a lot. Switch hitter, came over from Washington to San Diego. Didn't have the best year in San Diego, but I think highly of the young man. I just don't. I don't know. I've seen too much inconsistencies for Josh Bell. Way too much. Too many strikeouts. He'll get hot for a while. He'll get hot. But Rizzo, I just know what he is.
Yeah, he's going to command $20+ million a year, which is a shocking number when you hear out loud.
Which is crazy.
It is, and that's why I'm not paying him. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I think you can get Josh Bell for half that price.
Maybe, but Josh Bell's going to want a lot more years.
I think he's a 3 or 4 year deal guy.
See, the way I look at it is, if you get Rizzo, right, he's a placeholder for whatever you do the next year at first base. For whatever you do, if you want to bring a prospect, if you want to go sign somebody else at first base, whoever becomes a free agent. Now, I don't know who's going to be a free agent in 2024. It's just more of a stopgate, 1 year deal. If it's 20, I'll do it for 1 year.
Why does he want to come here for 1 year?
I don't know. Same reason why Aaron Judge would want to come here.
Aaron Judge would want to come for a 7-year deal and for hundreds of millions of dollars. I just look at Rizzo and I say a 1-2 year deal. That is such a giant Sabian, and I don't rip Sabian, but clinging to try to get back into the playoffs for one last run. They've got to build something for a 3-4 year run, not a 1 year run. That's the way I view it.
So Carlos Rodon, let's look at him. Carlos Rodon, and Flynn tipped us off. Flynn tipped us off when he basically said early. And I was like, Rodon's not coming back. And the way this regime looks at pitchers and the way they go out there and find pitchers, they don't believe in giving pitchers maybe 5-year deals. And Carlos Rodon's a guy who had a spectacular season. I do caution, I've told you this, can he stay healthy? Is that just a contract year type of season where he knows if I go out there and ball out and play through some things, I'm going to get paid? I'm not sure I would give Rodon a 5-year deal. If it's 3, I'm doing that. If it's 5, I may have to say bye-bye and throw it to deuces, Carlos Rodon.
How many lefties who throw 98 with a ridiculous, devastating breaking ball are available in baseball right now?
Not a lot.
Whether it be trade or free agency.
Not a lot.
Like, if he was a righty, I would listen to you. Like, because he's a lefty, I think that makes a big difference. I look at what the Astros have done, and the reason why they're the champs right now. They play a brand of baseball that I just absolutely love. Speed. They hit for power. They hit for contact. They put the ball in play. They don't strike out. They play elite defense, and they have elite pitching start to finish. Everyone's going to go McCullers and Verlander.
No, it's Valdez and Javier and those guys. Those guys.
Even
are legit.
Garcia, who you didn't really see but a couple of times in the playoffs. Like, you've got to have pitching. And so I look at it this way. You assume that Harrison's going to be coming up. He's the lefty prospect that most Giants fans have either been reading about or hearing about. He's going to have an opportunity. Do you really trust Alex Wood? Do you really trust DeSclafani?
No, I don't.
Now, they're probably going to get priced out on Rodon. But if I had it my way, 4-year deal, $32 million a year.
32?
Yes. That's what he's going to command.
Wow. 4 years, $120 million? Can I get him from 3 for 90? Can I get him 3 for 90?
See, I think if he takes a 3-year deal, he's going to be asking for $35 million. And maybe I'm misreading the market. I just look at this like the Yankees should be all in on Rodon. Why they would not be? I don't get it. Toronto Blue Jays should be all in on Rodon. There's a lot of teams. I think Seattle is a great fit for Rodon.
Don't you think that the Giants are cool with him leaving? I don't think they're going to make a big-time play for him.
Well, no, they're probably not, but I would like to see him come back because I look at the fastest way to compete is to neutralize hitting with elite pitching. Well, I think that plays in every ballpark.
There's some pitchers out there. Jacob DeGrom has a player option. Justin Verlander has a player option. I get it. He's 39 years old. It's going to be 40. Still pitching at a high level. Jacob DeGrom is nasty. He's going to be 34, 35 years old next year. He's probably going to command a lot of money. Would you rather invest in him if you had the choice, Rodon or DeGrom? DeGrom's a righty, but damn.
I mean, you want to talk about injuries. I mean,
he's got a lot of injuries too.
But
he's got a bigger track record than Rodon.
No, he
right?
does. He does. He also has a lot of wear and tear on that body. I like DeGrom. DeGrom's a flyer guy, though, to me. Like, DeGrom, I don't put in the category of Rodon. Rodon had a hell of a year this year.
Did you see DeGrom when he came back?
No doubt. But he's been hurt like crazy.
Yeah, he is lights out. I mean, he's throwing 100. He's got the nasty change. He's got the nasty off-speed stuff. If you had a game right now to give the ball to Rodon or DeGrom, I'm giving it to DeGrom.
After this last year?
Absolutely.
I mean, Rodon was a top 5 Cy Young candidate.
Yeah, I hear you.
And should have been.
But I saw DeGrom come back late in the season and just be lights out.
I think that's prisoner of the moment of the last couple months. Rodon was ridiculous throughout the year.
Rodon was good.
He had 2 bad road starts that ruined all of his numbers where he had to stay out there because they had no bullpen. Rodon was as good as there was in baseball this year. I mean, he really was.
He was good. He was really good.
So you talk about free agency, and I just wrote down a bunch of names. There's also an article out today about The Athletic as we're talking about baseball free agency, and it's regarding Shohei Ohtani. There are 9 teams poised to try to make a move for Shohei Ohtani. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Now, just to give you an idea of what Shohei did last year, Bonte, he had a 2.33 ERA, 166 innings. He would have basically been the 3rd best in terms of innings eaters in the Giants rotation, right? Because Rodon was at the top, Webb at the top, and then there's a big drop-off in terms of who actually pitched a lot of innings. He's basically was the 6th best pitcher in baseball this year based off the raw data, okay? He hit 34 homers as well, all right, with an 875 OPS. If you were combining players just based off comps, you're looking at basically Max Fried meets Jose Abreu. That's what you're getting in someone like Ohtani. So they put out the 9 teams that would want to trade for him. Listen to what the Giants one was, the offer was, and it's almost laughable because he's got 1 year left on his deal and you have to pay him as well. The offer was for the Giants, this is based on an Athletic article, Ken Rosenthal and a bunch of contributors. The Giants would have to give up Luciano, Matos, Harrison, and David Villar. Your top
you wouldn't do
3
that for
prospects.
Shohei Ohtani?
Your top 3 prospects for 1 year of team control?
You don't have faith in maybe re-signing Ohtani, getting him in the building?
I would just wait the 1 year and sign him in free agency.
Now you're gambling with everybody.
No question. I know, but this is that is a lot.
Angels may trade him mid-season.
And then they'd lose, obviously, value.
Lose value. That'd be a tough one for me to say no to.
I mean, you're gonna let Rodon walk, and then you're gonna bring in a righty pitcher, and then you're gonna lose your best left-handed top, and he's the second best lefty prospect in all baseball.
That's tough.
That's a
tough.
blow.
That's tough. But I'm getting Shohei Ohtani. So now I got Logan Webb, Shohei Ohtani in the top 2 of my rotation. And I've got Shohei Ohtani in the middle of my lineup. DH. And you're going to make a run at Aaron Judge. And who knows what happens with Trey Turner? Who knows what happens at first base?
Wouldn't you agree that would be a dramatic philosophical change from the front office?
It would. It would.
So you would do that deal?
It'd be tough for me to say no for Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani we're talking about. I don't know what Luciano's going to be. I don't know what Matos is going to be.
He's probably going to be a right fielder.
It's the same kind of thing with Christian McCaffrey, right? We're trading all these picks for Christian McCaffrey.
I'll give up 2 of those guys. I'm not giving up 3. You don't give up your top 3 prospects.
You may be boy, that'd be tough to say. No, Shohei Ohtani? Shohei? Whew. All right, we got a break here.
I know,
right.
I love him.
Anthony Slater, 8 o'clock, is going to talk some Dubs here. We're going to get a lot into the Dubs. Steve Kerr talked yesterday about the rotations or whatnot. We got a lot to get into there. The NFL as well. Great day in the NFL. Plus 957thegameshop.com. Go buy some gear. What's coming up? Sponsored by Vote Yes on Proposition 31. More of your phone calls. 888-957-9570. What is Proposition 31? Huh? Anybody know? Off the top of your head?
Curbs tobacco sales in California.
Oh, I like that. No tobacco. Kids don't smoke. Don't smoke tobacco. We'll be back.
Yes on Prop 31 means protecting our kids from nicotine addiction. Vote yes on 31. Ad paid for by Yes on Proposition 31. Committee to Protect California Kids, sponsored by nonprofit health organizations. Committee major funding from Michael R. Bloomberg.
What's the best way to deal with triple-digit and below freezing temperatures? Keep them outside. Golden State Windows and Doors understands the vast range of temperatures across the Bay Area. And thankfully, technology and style are ever-changing when it comes to windows and doors and home siding. So with the assistance from Golden State Window and Doors, you or your contracted clients can live comfortably year-round. You'll find modern options like Marvin's Ultimate Sliding French Door, which offers space-saving and sliding design, and it's engineered for years of energy-efficient performance. Anderson's A-Series windows offer a wide range of popular designs and are the highest-performing weather-tight products Anderson has ever offered. Get inspired by the many possibilities when you visit GoldenStateLumber.com and click on virtual tours. Then talk with your builder or designer to see what might be a good fit for your home. Serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
No one knows where this market will go. Things could change tomorrow, next week, or next month. At Merrill, we've been here before, and history shows this is the time to stay focused on your future. Because through every market, the bull will always have your back. Find an advisor in the Bay Area at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor. Member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
Are you interested in new career opportunities in the Bay Area and want to make a difference in your community? The San Francisco Sheriff's Office is looking for people considering a job in law enforcement right now. If you're at least 20 years or older with a high school diploma or equivalent, the San Francisco Sheriff's Office wants to hear from you. Enjoy full benefits, flexible schedules, and opportunities for growth and promotion. For employment announcements and more information, visit sfsheriff.com. That's sfsheriff.com to apply today.
Do you have neuropathy? Are you experiencing numbness, tingling, and pain that just won't stop? Are you taking dangerous drugs that have serious side effects and never fix the pain? If so, please listen to this message. Neuropathy is a serious, progressive condition that only gets worse if not treated properly. Call SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE to get back to doing the things you want to do. There is no drug, exercise, or surgery that can heal nerves. Don't wait until your condition gets worse and stops you from living your life fully. SF Bay Wellness has a time-tested, proven track record of helping hundreds of patients to improve and reverse their neuropathy. If you're ready to regain your independence, contact SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE. Call now for your $99 neuropathy special and receive a personal treatment plan that is tailored to your needs. Call 844-94-NERVE. That's 844-94-NERVE and start to enjoy life again.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off of every Warriors game. Brought to you by Xfinity. Supercharge your home with supersonic Wi-Fi. Unbeatable internet, only from Xfinity.
We're on a journey to make healthcare more accessible and more equitable, to treat the most complex diseases and offer hope where often there is little, to provide better care to more people across the Bay Area. We are more than a hospital, more than a university, beyond science and technology. We are the people of UCSF. UCSF Health, redefining possible.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Universal Studios Hollywood is where the holidays come together. We've tested it. Festive food with refreshing Coca-Cola. Family, friends, and fa-la-la. Dazzling lights cranked up to maximum merriment. The Grinch and his dog Max stealing your tree. All the science adds up. It's the awesomest celebration of the season. Save $20 on a Coca-Cola 2-day general admission ticket. Offer ends 12/14/22. Restrictions apply. Details at universalstudioshollywood.com/Coke offer.
Provember is back at Lowe's. Save up to an additional $750 off now on select major appliances from Hisense and get free delivery on items $396 or more. Plus, get an industry-leading 2-year warranty and great low prices on items like a Hisense refrigerator and air fry electric range, exclusively at Lowe's. Find the right appliance for your jobs and properties today. It always pays to be a pro at Lowe's. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details. Offer ends 11/30.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. See better and stay safe on the road with our visibility event. Right now, you can earn up to $20 in bonus rewards when you buy a pair of Rain-X Quantum Wiper Blades and Sylvania Silverstar Ultra headlights. Take advantage of the rewards from October 31st until November 13th, in-store or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Offer available to AutoZone Rewards members.
There goes the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job. The Houston Astros, world champions.
Now, back to the morning roast with Bonte and Shasky.
Joe Davis on the call for Fox Sports. Astros win the World Series in 6 over the Philadelphia Phillies. Win Saturday night 4-1 to help Dusty Baker win his first World Series as a manager. Remember, he was able to win a World Series as a player back in '81 for the LA Dodgers when they beat the New York Yankees. In that World Series, of course, Steinbrenner went crazy on Dave Winfield after that World Series. But Dusty finally gets his due as a manager, finally, and he cleans up that entire Houston situation. He gets a job when A.J. Hinch gets fired, and they fire everybody in the front office, and Houston was a job that nobody wanted, and he went there, he cleaned it up. They lose Springer, they lose Correa. He still figures out a way because they bring up this Pena kid who is a stud, who people talked about last year. I didn't think he'd be able to replace Correa.
Gold
he had
glove.
a hit in every single game of this World Series.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He was amazing. Altuve did what he had to do in this series. Yordan Alvarez, of course, Bregman, Kyle Tucker, and really, Yordan Alvarez didn't do anything in this World Series. That was his hit, though.
Well, they pitched around him. I mean,
No doubt.
he's an absolute monster.
Bat at
And
130.
that whole sequence, Philly fans are going to basically, they're going to lose their minds for the rest of their life over taking Zach Wheeler out of that game to go to a lefty. And this is where
it was Alvarado too.
Like of all guys. But and then here's the other part. Like, okay, you're going to go lefty on lefty, and I don't know what Alvarado's numbers are versus lefties. That is a dude in Alvarez. Jordan is a dude. You know he has the highest OPS versus lefties of any player since Barry Bonds.
It just didn't make any sense.
Right? And so I go with Zach Wheeler there. He had 70 pitches. It's your season on the line. Who's the better player? And I know you want to go with the dad and all that. Like, I'm going down with my dog. Like, that's what I'm doing if I'm that manager.
It's funny, if you look at Alvarado during the season, righties batted 188 against him.
Okay.
Lefties batted 237.
So then what was the... explain to me what
I have to ask Mr. Thompson.
I don't get it.
Manager of the Phillies. I just would have kept Wheeler in there.
That's what I got
to go with my stud.
It's first and third. How about walking him? How about, in that situation, it was first and third. I believe Bregman's on deck. Is that how
Bregman's on deck?
Yeah, so to me, I'd set up the righty-righty and go Wheeler versus Bregman there.
And then try to get the double play.
Anything. Like, I'm avoiding Jordan Alvarez. And by the way, he hit that so far.
He hit that. It was a blast.
That was incredible.
It was a blast. It was an absolute shot. And I was, basically after Schwarber in the top of the sixth inning hit a bomb, and I was like, look at the Philadelphia Phillies quiet in the crowd.
Did you see Schwarber's last at-bat? He tried to bunt with two strikes, and I go, that is the ultimate waving of the white flag.
But to your point, Valdez was really good because people forget Verlander got hurt during the course of the season. So Javier got bumped up to the rotation. Valdez was dealing. Garcia was dealing. And McCullers was hurt for most of the season.
Yes.
They've got depth in the starting rotation. That's why I don't see them bringing back Justin Verlander at the price point he's probably going to want. We'll see about that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
But they've got dudes.
Well,
they've got dudes. They've got guys up and down the lineup who's still there. Bregman's still there. Again, they let Correa walk. They let Springer walk. And I was like, we're not going to bat an eye because we got a piped up farm system that is loaded.
I mean, Tucker hits over 30 home runs this year.
Nasty.
And then you've got, obviously, Jordan Alvarez hits 47, I believe, this year. 46, 47 home runs this year. And then to your point on Correa right now, after 1 year in Minnesota, will be one of the top free agents in baseball. It's going to be him, Judge, Turner, like however your order is. He's top 5, somewhere in there. And they let that guy walk. He's going to go again in free agency this year. He'll get a ton of money, and they're not skipping a beat.
No.
Skipping a beat. So the big thing that I'm looking at, and I guess this brings me back to the Giants. The Astros are really the model team. The way they play the game, I admire. I admire the way because they hit and run. They steal bags. They'll go first to third. They put the ball in play. They don't strike out. Phillies struck out more than anyone in the history of the playoffs because there was a couple extra games. Like their strikeout was way too much. The Astros put the ball in play, and they have homegrown talent, to your point, B. 16 players of the 24 that were active when they won the World Series, which is the most in 20-plus years.
Which is crazy.
It is. So as
it's just the Yankees, huh?
Yeah.
It's just the Yankees with Jeter and Bernie and all those guys, Posada.
And as we look at like the Giants and what they need to do, and get, obviously they need to get younger, they need to get more athletic, and we want them to spend money in free agency. And the reason why I'm reluctant to like go into one of these huge trades with Shohei Ohtani because part of what makes the Astros so great, part of what makes the Dodgers so great is the replenishing of talent and the development and how they find these guys, they nurture them, and then they bring them up and they're ready. Gutting the handful of guys that we've been waiting to see, like I get where that, like I know we want to jumpstart this thing, but it feels like it would be a short-term answer and a long-term issue where like I just don't know, B. I'm reluctant.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal about the Astros. Here's the deal about the Astros. They let their players come up through the system.
Yes.
They played a lot. And then when they realize that, okay, we're on the brink of winning big things, let's now make a move. Remember the Verlander deal happened before August 31st.
Yeah.
Waiver deadline. They trade for Garrett Cole from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So they made timely moves. Zach Greinke, was that free agency or was that via trade? I think that was via trade. Via trade with Arizona. It was via trade with Arizona. And I can't even name you the prospects in Arizona that went for Zach Greinke. I can't right now.
No.
It was a big time deal at the deadline.
But those
Josh Rojas and Seth Beard.
And Rojas, wasn't he a Gold Glover?
Was Rojas a Gold Glover?
Maybe.
I think
He's really
he was a Gold
good for
Glover
fantasy purposes. I know that.
Yeah.
But Zach Greinke definitely helped the Astros. Although he didn't get the World Series championship, he helped. So they made moves when they already had their team set. Obviously, the Giants are not set. They're not set with their lineup. They're not set with their prospects. So maybe they do wait. With that said, do you still give Aaron Judge a blank check? Does Aaron Judge want to sit through another couple years of knocking on the door in the ALCS? He's been knocking on the door in the World Series, knocking on the door winning the championship. Would he want to sign, despite all the money that the Giants are going to give him? Would he want to sit through and say, okay, I'll wait for Harrison to come up. I'll wait for Luciano to come up. Okay, Ohtani's going to be a free agent next year. Let's wait on that. Is Aaron Judge willing to do that? Can you sell Aaron Judge on that? That's the key for me.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to that one, B. Does he even want to, just not want to live in New York? I think that's an underrated part of this. Does he just what?
They booed him.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you hear some guys I just want to live in Florida. I just want to live in Texas. I just want to live in California, Southern California.
I don't know what he wants to do.
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea. But I would say this, B. The reason why I'm so in love with giving someone like Aaron Judge the money, clearly, from a marketing standpoint, it makes total sense. From a power bat standpoint, Bonte, this would be the best power bat, right-handed power bat, since what? Jeff Kent?
Yeah, probably.
And I'm not trying to put shade on Buster or on Hunter Pence. This is a different level of power bat.
Yeah. And Jeff Kent's not even on that level of power when it comes to Aaron Judge.
No, but
not
I'm
even
saying
close.
I'm just looking at consistent home run hitter throughout their career. And I'm not trying to again, no shade on Pence.
My thing is this: if you go all in on Judge, then you got to go all in on all these free agents. That means you got to go make a play for Turner. You got to make a play for DeGrom. You got to make a play for Josh Bell or Rizzo or whoever you want to do.
I think that's their template, B.
Because I'm looking DeGrom. I'm looking at him, right? 34 years old. Damn, man, this guy's got numbers. This guy, and I can hear the argument that he's been hurt. You look at the last time he pitched 32 games. That was in 2019. 2020 pandemic season, pitched 12 games. 2021, obviously, only pitches 15 games, gets hurt midway through the year. And then last year, of course, he comes later in the season, throws 64 innings, and he deals. If you go all in on Aaron Judge, you got to go all in on everybody. If not, if they miss out on Aaron Judge, I would not personally mind them taking a step back, saying, okay, let's continue to develop and save some money. It sounds bad, but if you don't get Judge, where do you go? Who's going to want to come here if you don't get Judge?
Who's going to want to go to games? Let's continue this on the other side.
All right.
Because this is an interesting argument from you. I find this interesting.
Well, yeah, you got to go all in on Judge. You got to go, you either get Judge and a few dudes, or you don't get anybody at all. Anyway, that'll be brought to you by Go to State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoToStateLumber.com at Fremont Bank. Full service banking, no compromises.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT. And make us your last stop.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
Goody Nation is a nonprofit that connects small, diverse companies to big money. At one point, we had to send millions of dollars to 76 companies overnight, tracking every penny all on paper. I know, right? We don't do that anymore. Now we've got Bill. It knows where the money's going. Once we automated that process, we got more time back with our community. Bill is accurate, and that gives us confidence.
Automate your finances with Bill. Learn more at Bill.com.
2000, 2008, 2022. When it comes to the economy, those are some scary years. .com crash, housing crash, and the roller coaster we're going through right now. It's a dangerous time to not know your numbers. But over 31,000 businesses have the confidence and clarity they need because they rely on NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, improve margins. Everything you need all in one place. So, how do you prepare for uncertain times? The answer, NetSuite. NetSuite helps you identify rising costs, automate your business processes, and easily see where to save money. That's why 93% of customers say they improved their visibility and control when they upgraded to NetSuite. What are you waiting for? NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind flexible financing program. Head to netsuite.com/radar. netsuite.com/radar.
This Veterans Day, Outdoor Supply Hardware is giving 20% off to retired or active military service members. Visit OSH November 11th through 13th and receive 20% off with ID. This discount is on top of OSH's end-of-season clearance sale. Save up to $200 on in-stock fire tables and patio heaters, or save $100 on select Weber propane grills. OSH has great price in-stock holiday decor, artificial trees, lights, and inflatables. Visit 14 Greater Bay Area and Central Coast OSH locations. OSH, neighbors helping neighbors.
Fremont Bank. If there's one thing we understand more than anybody, it's that it takes a local bank to really get the needs of local businesses. Fremont Bank has the flexibility and motivation to service your business loan needs like other banks can't or won't. With our full suite of business loan products and recognition as a top SBA lender in the Bay Area, Fremont Bank is the right choice for local and family-owned businesses. Fremont Bank. Learn more at fremontbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7 with supplies and solutions for every industry and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's Howie Long for Skechers hands-free slip-in footwear.
The world has gone hands-free. However, if you want to put on a pair of sneakers, you still need to bend down and help your feet in. Until now. Introducing Skechers hands-free slip-in footwear. You don't need to reach down to help your heel in. You just step into them and off you go. So what's the secret? Well, there's a special smooth comfort pillow in the heel that helps your foot slide into place. And they stay on just like a pair of laced-up sneakers.
Get hands-free slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Chris Cuomo is back with a new show on a new network. Catch Cuomo weeknights on News Nation at 5 and 8 p.m. Pacific. To find News Nation on your television provider, go to newsnationnow.com/join us.
This is Steve Kerr, and you're listening to the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
What up, Steve? We'll see you later tonight at Chase Center when the Warriors host the Sacramento Kings. And, of course, the Sacramento Kings had a big-time win Saturday against the Orlando Magic. You see De'Aaron Fox? Whoo!
Fonte.
Half-court shot.
Fonte.
I was watching.
Fonte.
I was watching a little league pass.
Fonte. Saturday night, me watching the Magic Kings.
Saturday afternoon.
Okay, even
2
more.
o'clock game.
Even more the reason that I will tell you no.
My guy, Paolo Banchero, 33.16 rebounds. He's a stud. He's a stud.
So explain to me how you watched every college football game.
I didn't watch every college football game. Not every play.
And the World Series and Kings Magic all simultaneously.
And end up at a Sharks game, right?
And end up at a Sharks game.
It's called the power of the iPhone. So
would you quad boxing it like you're the red zone?
So laptop in heavy usage. Big screen in heavy usage. NBA app in heavy usage. So I didn't watch the entire Florida State-Miami game. I didn't watch the entire LSU-Alabama game. I didn't watch the entire Clemson-Notre Dame game. You just got to skip around and know the spots to watch. So the last 4 minutes of LSU-Bama, you lock in, boom. Because it was kind of a slow, a slow game? By the way, Big Dog City happened to be at that game.
I mean, very lucky.
Big Dog City.
I think that Reardon needs to go back to those yellow helmets. That yellow helmet look with the purple by LSU, in my estimation, is maybe the coolest uniform in sports. That Saturday night uniform.
The yellow helmets with the purple R.
Yes.
Reardon, old school,
I'm talking
late
about the
90s.
LSU ones that you see right now. Reardon used to have ones like that, and I would like to see them go back to that.
They may go back to that, now that you said it. But Big Dog City happens to be at all these great games. He's probably going to be, he was at Warriors-Pelicans Friday night.
Okay.
He's at LSU-Bama Saturday night. with baby Jaylee in his hands.
Okay.
And Candace's lovely wife. And then tonight he may be at Raven Saints.
Wow.
I mean, talk about a trifecta. By the way.
Bayou Big Dog.
So it's not possible to watch every single game, but you try to do what you can. But Magic Kings, because obviously the Warriors are playing the Kings, so I wanted to see what the Kings would do against the Magic. It's a hell of a win for them. Shout out to Casey and D'Lo. They needed that for their soul.
Warriors need a win for their soul. But I want to get back into the question that you asked me before we got to break, and we'll get into the Warriors. We got a lot of NFL stuff that we want to get to in about 25 minutes. Bonte, you asked me, if the Giants don't get Aaron Judge, what do they do? Do they just not spend anything? And I guess, I think the prudent thing would be you don't want to be reckless. Part of why they got in the position of overspending, it wasn't recklessness per se, but their farm stopped feeding them starting pitching, and they started to overspend in free agency to maintain status quo, to go out and get Samardzija and Cueto and this guy and that guy, Mark Melancon, for example. And then they were obviously overpaying their own to keep it together, the core, Crawford and Belt, etc. And I just feel like it's a slippery slope. But I also understand there's a business aspect where you cannot have empty ballparks and people not caring and you selling Dodger gear at Giants games on a Friday night because that team's more sexy and more marketable than yours.
Yeah, it's an interesting proposition because if you don't sign anybody, nobody's going to the yard.
Exactly.
That's true. And we won't be talking about the Giants in July because they'll probably be done. They cooked and be battling for fourth place. It's the nature of it. But where do you go if you don't sign Aaron Judge? Do you pivot to Correa? Does Crawford want to move to second base? What about Trey Turner? Does he want to play second base? Do you pivot to pitching? Where do you pivot to? It feels like the Giants have to get Aaron Judge. You have to get that mainstay in the middle of the lineup. You have to get that guy. And even with Aaron Judge, there are question marks about him. There are question marks. I mean, his postseason was not good whatsoever.
No.
The strikeouts are not good.
This season wore him out because he carried that team in the final
Yankees.
2 months of the season.
He did carry the New York Yankees.
But
There's
that
no doubt
lineup
about
was
that.
so good. I do worry a little about what he would look like in a lineup with very little protection.
Yeah, and could the Giants sign other guys outside of Aaron Judge? Is Aaron Judge enough to attract other free agents? That's my biggest question.
It's a totally fair one. After you've watched now the Philadelphia Phillies, if we look at team building and how to build the team, the Phillies are very dramatically different than, let's say, the Astros, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Astros, I told you, 16 homegrown players. And they've pick and choose their spots. They've acquired guys over the years, but the core of their guys are from their system. They made a trade in 2016 to go get Yordan Alvarez, but they developed him. I mean, it was a throwaway deal for the Dodgers. Obviously, Tucker came from their system. Pena, who you referenced, came from their system.
Yeah.
Altuve's probably... I think he's the gold standard at second base in the last 35 years, right? Since Robert Alomar went away, I think he's the best. He's usurped Chase Utley as probably the best second baseman of this generation. What do you think?
Altuve's a stud.
Yeah. He
may walk into the Hall of Fame, but the cheating scandal is going to be.
He's got 200 home runs, 300 stolen bases.
He may get to 3,000 hits.
He's already got 2,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's a 320 hitter or whatever.
Yep.
Like he's ridiculous. He's an all-time. He's a Gold Glover, all-time legend. Bregman's an MVP candidate year in, year out. So what I'm going at is that team's homegrown. I look at the Phillies. They signed Schwarber. They signed Castellanos. They signed Bryce Harper. They traded for JT Realmuto. That team, for the most part, was acquired. I mean, that was a Dombrowski special where he went out and spent a ton of money and depleted their farm to trade for certain players. Right? Now, they've sprinkled in their own homegrown as well. I believe Aaron Nola was a homegrown guy, as an example. So, there's no one way to do it, but I feel like the Giants are going to try to blend this where they're going to bring up their own and they want to bring in some high-priced free agents. And I see now that Bryce Harper, it feels like it's a great deal right now for the Phillies. He's given them some great years.
MVP, home runs, a home run that lead them to the World Series. Bryce Harper, there's no doubt, he's one of the best players in the game. It's a great deal for Philadelphia and that ballpark.
So I'm not afraid to sign Judge because of a deal like that.
But 30, he is 30 now, right?
Harper's 30 now.
Harper wasn't 30 then.
No, he was 27 or 28.
Yeah. So I wouldn't, it's got to be a 7 to 8 year deal for Judge. Man, that's a lot.
Well, and here's the thing.
That's a lot. Can I get away with giving him 5 for $200 million?
I mean, and you know there's going to be opt-outs. So if you give him a 7-year deal, you'll probably have an opt-out after 4 or 5. Or,
I
even
can see that.
the Nolan Arenado deal, like it was a 10-year deal, but after 5 you had to opt.
Will Arenado opt out?
Well, he already is going to come back to the Cardinals.
Oh, they already
that was
said
announced a week ago or so.
Oh, was it? I missed that. Okay, damn.
Yeah, he
I
already
missed that
opted
one.
back in.
I missed that one. 650 Xfinity Mobile text line wants to go after Judge and Rizzo. I don't know what you're doing with the Giants. Look, this is a very important offseason because you are losing fans. You are losing butts in the seats. I know Larry Bear is itching to get a star player here. Itching.
See, you got to start somewhere.
I guarantee you, Larry Bear. Well, I'm not going to guarantee it. But if Farhan Zaidi walked up to Larry Bear and said, "Hey, look, man, we can get Shohei, but we have to give up Harrison. We have to give up Matos. We have to give up Luciano." If I told you right now, if you had to give up those 3 prospects, but you ended up with Shohei and Judge, would you do it?
Shohei and Judge?
Signing Judge, and then you go get Shohei.
I would probably end up doing it, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not giving, and I know that's what the article said. There was an Athletic article, if you're just joining us now, that referenced 9 teams that could trade for Shohei. And the offer that they had for the Giants was Harrison, the top lefty prospect in all of baseball, Luciano, and Matos. So those are 3 of everybody's top 4 prospects in the Giants system, no matter what ranking system you go to. I feel like that's 1 prospect too many, but then I also feel like I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, look, 650 Xfinity Mobile text line, F them picks, F them prospects. Another 650, I want Trey Turner, stud, plus take him from the Dodgers.
See, I want Turner too.
See, I love Trey Turner. If I knew Shohei can be half for those 3 prospects.
But do you know also that he's re-signing with you?
If you bring Judge, I got a better possibility of doing it. I got a better possibility of bringing Shohei in.
I mean,
and I get a top flight pitcher.
I mean, you want to talk about selling downtown?
I'm willing to take that chance for 1 year. I'm willing to take that chance.
I hate.
And then if you and that proves to Shohei, hey, I'm trying to win. All he wants to do is be in a situation where they're winning.
I mean, I look at someone like Julio Rodriguez right now, and it's like, if I told the Mariner fans, and again, Julio is the top end of what you want a prospect to be. I mean, he's generational. People are already using the HOF words with him, and I'm like, dude, he's played 1 full season, and I love what I'm seeing thus far. But like, you're thinking like Julio Rodriguez, and I don't think Luciano's on that level, but like, that's what we've been waiting for, B. I've been waiting for someone like that for so long. We waited 3-4 years, it feels like, and we're right on the cusp of seeing this guy. And if you just wait 1 year, you might be able to get Shohei Ohtani in free agency. And it's a gamble. But
it's a gamble.
All 3 of my guys. And Harrison, like part of why you're letting Rodon go in free agency, the thought process is Harrison replaces him as a controllable asset lefty who is dominant.
I hear you. But if I told you you're getting Shohei and Aaron Judge, and I told Giants fans, hey, Giants fans, you're going to trade Harrison, Luciano, Matos, and these prospects. But you're getting Aaron Judge this offseason and Shohei Ohtani. And then Carlos Rondon may say, hold up a minute. I want back in.
So we're spending $1 billion this offseason?
Hey, man, I'm not checking the pockets. I'm not. Oscar the EPA, we're still waiting for Christian Arroyo and Gary Brown. All right, look. Prospects and prospects. I need major league proven talent, and it's go time. It's go time. I'm competing with the Dodgers. I'm competing with the Padres, who are going to get Fernando Tatis Jr. back this year. He's coming back.
But philosophically, if you want to compete year in, year out, it's not about landing a guy in year 1 or whatever. It's about having a replenishable talent level coming through the pipeline constantly. And so if you gut that on the front end, that just feels short-sighted. And I'm not saying that, like, everyone wants Shohei. I have, like, the minority opinion. Of course, everybody would trade a bunch of people they have no emotional attachment to. All I'm saying is that why trade all of that when you can just wait a year? I look at what the New York Knicks did with Gallinari and all those guys that they traded for Carmelo. If you ask them now, man, if you'd have just waited a year, what was it worth it to gut your entire team? And like Melo, I don't know. I'm just... I see your point of it, and I know I have the minority opinion. I'm just being realistic. I wouldn't do that deal. 2 or 3, 2 of them, yes. Not all 3 of my top prospects.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Cy Young Award winner, MVP, Judge, prospects.
Oh, you'd be sexy.
Oh, I'm doing that
Bonte,
right away.
That's why the Angels have been losing the last handful of years.
But they also don't know how to develop anything.
Well, who says the Giants do?
Well, Farhan, that's his specialty, right? That's why I brought Farhan in.
But
he quote unquote built the Dodgers, right? He quote unquote developed talent. Gonsolin, Bellinger. Who else was it? Who else did he? Chris Taylor. There's a couple guys in there.
Chris Taylor's a utility guy.
He's okay.
I mean, he's a solid player, but
he's all right.
And Justin Turner's obviously one of the guys. Max Muncy, he found those guys. But I mean, the way you build up your system is you can't trade. Like, imagine if the Houston Astros just traded away Altuve.
No, they didn't do that.
And I'm not saying that that's who Luciano's going to end up being, but that changes the trajectory of that organization.
Dude, I'm telling you, you get Judge and Shohei. All of a sudden, you're in line for every single free agent. All of a sudden, pitchers are like, you know what? I want to pitch behind that lineup.
Probably.
That lineup right there. Now I got power. Now I could go down to San Diego and say, okay, I'll meet your Machado. I'll meet your Juan Soto. I'll meet your Fernando Tatis Jr. And who knows if Juan Soto's going to sign a long-term deal with San Diego?
Yeah, no idea.
No idea. Isn't he a free agent after this year?
I think he has
2 years.
He has 2 full years.
2
of
full
control.
years? Okay.
So he'll be ARB this year and then ARB next year, if I'm not mistaken.
So who knows? Who knows? I think that's a tough deal to pass up. Especially with the pressure of the fan base,
there's no doubt,
saying we need star power.
Well, and it's this particular type of player, Shohei Ohtani, who you know is going to resonate. Look, the Asian American community in the Bay Area is probably larger than every other big market. I mean, I know LA's
outside of New York, and LA, because New York's got
I forgot about that. Yeah,
but think about it. We've been talking about Ichiro. Man, what if Ichiro ever became? What about Yao Ming? If he ever became a Warrior? How many jerseys?
I know.
How many hot dogs?
People were mad at Jeremy Lin.
Dude, exactly. So you get Shohei down here, Shohei Day. It's packed. Not only that, every other day you got Aaron Judge batting. People want to go to batting practice all the time. Big name players. This fan base is salivating over that.
Bonte, if they go from whatever we're talking about here, Shohei and Aaron Judge, and we pivot to, we're bringing back Longo, and we're going to sign Belt to a 1-year deal, and we don't get any big time movement, it's going to be really disappointing.
You don't think Larry Bear is pressuring Farhan? I saw Larry Bear at the JP Morgan Club.
He was at a Warrior game.
At a Warrior game. And he's been at a few Warrior games, even in the playoffs.
Okay.
And he's sitting there. Yeah, I'm name dropping. He's sitting there. But I watch him, though. I like to see the other guys, like the Jet Yorks and stuff, when they go to these arenas, or if Lakeland is at a Niner game. I like to see how they're looking at things. The way Larry Bear was looking at the pregame warm-ups or the Golden State Warriors, with that music playing, and the party that it was, like, JK, yeah, Moody, it's a pool party. Then you got Steph and Clay, you got all these guys. Larry Bear's eyes were so big. And he's like, damn, I missed this. All the paparazzi, all the cameras flashing. You haven't had that at Oracle Park in a while.
I know.
Even when they're 107 wins, it was like, okay, 107 wins, but...
Hey, Durant is... So, if we were going free agents to come to the Bay Area, Durant all-time number 1?
All-time.
Over Bonds?
Ooh.
Because I think it's Bonds. Even though he didn't deliver the championships like KD.
Well, I wonder.
I think it's the greatest free agent signing of all time.
Bonds is there. It's
think about the trickle down effect. You stay in the Bay Area, you build a ballpark. He chases records. Generations of Giants fans. That's their favorite player.
I guess. Barry Bonds is right there. Kevin Durant was special.
So where would Judge be?
Judge be top 5. Well, you got Deion Sanders.
It's a 1-year deal.
It's a 1-year deal.
I know.
It's
it was
a 1-year
amazing.
deal, but it got you a Super Bowl.
I know.
It's the last Super Bowl we've seen that.
I know.
DPOI. I mean, it's the greatest 1-year deal possibly in sports history.
It's certainly not Melanson, Zito, and Benitez.
No,
we
it's
agree
not
there.
even close.
All right,
it's not even close.
But where I'm going with this is that if you did land Judge, even if it's a little underwhelming, this team needs a kickstart so bad.
Yeah,
so bad. This would be one of those guys. Every single kid Christmas morning would have a 99 Giants jersey
and a Shohei Ohtani jersey if you made the move. Now 408. Also asked 600 mobile text line, what's the possibility of getting Trout from the Angels? That's another one.
Now that changes the equation. Because he signed for I think 7 more years, 6 more years.
Big time deal.
I would give you my top 4 or 5 prospects.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that flipped quick.
Yeah. That's different because he's under team control.
That flipped quick.
And you're looking at a guy who's going to chase home run records as he ages. You're looking at a guy who is a Hall of Famer.
Now, you would have a dilemma here. Judge and Trout, both are probably going to be DHs at some point in their careers.
Trout can play right field.
All right.
Yeah. I think Judge in left field, our left field is not that spacious.
No, it's not.
Did you watch Jock Peterson?
Yeah, no.
So that's the beauty of Aaron Judge. One thing he can
play center, too.
Yeah, but he's a corner outfielder.
He's a corner outfielder,
Yeah,
but the fact that he can play center is pretty cool.
Well, and then the question becomes at 6'8", can you learn to play first if we needed you to? But I was watching about Aaron Judge. Part of why he kept hurting himself, he was overtraining.
Mm-hmm.
So he would go during games, and when he'd have a bad at bat, he'd go into the clubhouse and he'd be ripping a bunch of balls off the tee and off soft toss and stuff. And he learned that he has to rest his body more. And since then, just like a game changer for him physically. And so it sounds like to me he's gotten to the point in his career, and you saw Steph Curry do this, where he has completely controlled his body, and that has enabled him to do things on a consistent level that he far couldn't achieve beforehand.
No doubt about that. No doubt. But the Giants do need an impact player. We know that. So free agency starting. I believe Dibbs and Lillard may be on assignment Thursday. We'll have more details about that later in the week. You are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM, and AC1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app, your favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And don't forget, you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. Anthony Slater will join us at 8 o'clock to talk about the Golden State Warriors, who went 0-5 on their 5-game road trip. They're 0-6 on the road, 3-7 overall. But Steve Kerr met with the media yesterday. Klay Thompson met with the media yesterday. And it sounds like Jonathan Kuminga will be unlocked starting tonight.
I enjoyed Friday night a lot. The youngsters playing. Ty Jerome looking really good.
Ty Jerome's playing.
I love that Mullen kept using my word crafty. We do that for white guys. I love that word.
You guys do that.
We do.
Sneaky athleticism.
Crafty. You know what I mean? But he is. He was really nice. And then Lamb out of nowhere looking like...
Anthony Lamb's a player. He can hit the three, handle the ball, knows where to be.
It was the feel. Wouldn't you agree? Like the feel for the offense on how to set a screen, make the pass, hit the open shot. He felt very assertive and confident. I just liked where the Warriors are at. I have a big problem right now. I don't know what's going on with Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole's an issue. Now, James Wiseman was an issue. And it sounds like James Wiseman is going to be out of the rotation, and he's going to get time to grow. Now, again, we had this conversation last week. A G League stint may not help James Wiseman. James Wiseman may need a fresh start. Maybe he can't adapt to this offense. Maybe he needs to play in a more simplified offense. I don't know. But right now, James Wiseman's going to be out of the rotation. And Kuminga does deserve those minutes, 7-12, 18 points. But Jordan Poole, to your point, those last 3 games on the road trip was not good defensively. And he's getting into trouble that he got into his first 3 years in the league. Over dribbling. 1-2-3 dribble, 1-2-3, boom, pass. Like, he's over dribbling, trying to make everything happen. Shot selection, not good. You look at his 3-point shot, 3-10 Friday night. He was 2-12. That makes him, 5 of 22 from the 3-point line this last 3 games. That's not good.
No.
That's not good. And, there's an argument to be made that he needs veterans around him to make sure he flourishes. Well, you know what? When you give a guy $123 million guaranteed, and I get that the contract kicks in next year, I need more than that. You have to elevate these youngsters. That's why you're getting paid the big bucks now, because we believe you can elevate these guys.
Do you think he's trying to do too much to justify the contract?
Little bit. How much is it on the players around him that he's playing with?
I don't know. I don't know. I just watching him Friday night, it just felt like he was trying to do way too much. And to your point about the over dribbling, it was very obvious last night or Friday night. And I was just thinking about Fred Warner when Fred Warner got the big contract with the Niners, and he got a bunch of guaranteed money, but the real money wasn't going to kick in until slightly later. And he's talking about like he just tried to prove on every play he was worth it. And I'm watching JP, and it's like I'm trying to show you why I'm worth every dollar. It's like, dude, let the game come to you and take a deep breath and relax. And so I don't know. I'm very worried because they need him to be spectacular JP. But the problem is that when you're gunning for spectacular, It feels like more times than not, you're doing too much. You got to do it within the rhythm and the flow of the offense, and I don't see that from him.
Yeah, no, it's way too much. Way too much. Way too much. Way too much dribbling. He's got to be better. Wiseman, if he plays, has to be better. Now, I do want to have a conversation there. Want to have a conversation about Jordan Poole. Obviously, Jonathan Kuminga looked really good. They just need his athleticism. Let him play through the mistakes. The guy can get to the cup. The guy can force fouls. All right? The guy, defensively, I saw him play some very good defense on Brandon Ingram in that basketball game. Jonathan Kuminga can be a player. He can be a guy.
Do not play him alongside JaMychal Green.
Oh.
It's like this JaMychal, and I like it because the Friday night you needed to have somebody out there giving some minutes, because you didn't have an entire bench. This rotation has got to see JaMychal Green not play alongside Kuminga. I don't get it.
We discussed this. Last week about JaMychal Green. I wanted to see more two-man game between Wiseman and Kuminga.
100%.
Because I know what JaMychal Green is. And what we're seeing is what we're getting. So 888-957-9570.
I don't want to pick on him. I hope that didn't come off like you pick on him. I'm just saying there are certain fits that don't work together.
I'm not.
Like, you don't want to see Looney and Wiseman play simultaneously for a variety of reasons.
I'm with you.
I don't need to see JaMychal Green and Kuminga. Kuminga's a 4 or a 5.
All right,
He's not a 3.
What's coming up on the game is sponsored by Vote Yes on Proposition 31.
Yes on Prop 31 means protecting our kids from nicotine addiction. Vote yes on 31. Ad paid for by Yes on Proposition 31. Committee to Protect California Kids, sponsored by nonprofit health organizations. Committee major funding from Michael R. Bloomberg.
The rumors are swirling.
Randy Miller, NJ.com on the Aaron Judge free agency and situation.
I know Aaron from covering him his entire career. Aaron grew up loving the Giants. I think he's ready to come home, and he also knows that I think he believes the Giants are going to pay him what he's worth.
Can the Giants land Aaron Judge? Find out right here on 95.7 The Game.
AT&T Fiber presents a straightforward moment inspired by straightforward pricing.
And now we just cube the pancetta as such.
So what's on the menu tonight?
This carbonara I found online. It's fire. You gonna love it, Mom.
I hope you hold on to this AT&T Fiber, son. It's nice.
Yeah, you should settle down now that you're a gagillionaire.
Oh, I am. I finally found the one internet I've been looking for my whole life.
So, no more one-year stands?
No, I'm done with all that. With AT&T Fiber, there's no price increase at 12 months.
What about equipment fees?
Nope.
Those were never any good for you.
Exactly. But now, everything's completely straightforward.
Well, in the spirit of being straightforward, I never liked any of your old ones.
Me neither. Blah.
Y'all never told me that.
But we're being straightforward now, which feels good, yeah?
Yeah. Now let's get straightforward about that girl he's been seeing.
Straightforward is better. No equipment fees, no data caps, no price increase at 12 months. Live like a gagillionaire with AT&T Fiber. Limited availability in select areas. Visit att.com/hypergig for details.
Hey everyone, if you're looking for a Monday night parlay to bet absolutely free, the guys over at Taking Vegas have you covered. Pro football action, Baltimore, New Orleans, plus a monster NBA pick. Hook them up together. There's your 2-team parlay, absolutely free. All you have to do to get it is visit takingvegas.com. That's takingvegas.com. We are 13-4 with our weeknight pro football games, and we are on an 8-1 NBA run. We are lights out, and tonight we're combining the two sports for a big parlay that is absolutely free. Baltimore, New Orleans, and a mismatch in the NBA. Just visit takingvegas.com. Again, that's takingvegas.com. Take care of you in pro football tonight. Take care of you in the NBA as well. And here's the kicker. Both must win, or the next 30 days of our service will be free. All you have to do to get this parlay is visit takingvegas.com. That's takingvegas.com.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT. And make us your last stop.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off of every Warriors game. Brought to you by Xfinity. Supercharge your home with supersonic Wi-Fi. Unbeatable internet, only from Xfinity.
Neuropathy pain? Call Dr. Robert Dees, DC, 925-393-0100.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your... so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Provember is back at Lowe's, and so are the savings. Power the possibilities with savings on the DeWalt tools you trust to get the job done. Like the DeWalt 16-piece reciprocating saw blade set was $29.98, now $19.98. And the DeWalt 14-piece assorted drill bit set was $16.98, now $9.98. These deals are tough to beat, and so are the tools. It always pays to be a pro at Lowe's. Offer ends 12/28 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Now back to the morning roast with Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Take it away, Bonte.
All right, Steph, we'll see you later tonight, 7 p.m. tip-off. Warriors and Kings. Warriors and Kings. Kings beat the Magic Saturday. Warriors, of course, on a 5-game losing streak. They need to get on track here. Steve Kerr met with the media yesterday, and he said a lot of things about Kuminga, about the rotation, about everything there. So, you know, you were talking about Jordan Poole and the over-dribbling. By the way, before we get into this, Shask, I got to let you know, and everybody know that, Boxer and Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. This segment is brought to you by Boxer and Gerson. Shout out to Boxer and Gerson. Shout out to Hillary, whose Raiders took an L yesterday. What did they blow? 17-0 lead? Is that 17-0? Damn. What's more maddening? I'm not, you know what, I'm not going to. I was going to say something, Shasky, I was going to set things off. I'm not even going to do it. Not even going to do it.
We'll get into the Warriors a little later, and I'm excited to see them tonight, and they need to get a win. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Love it.
I really want to hear what you were going to say now.
Well, I was going to say what's maddening, what's more maddening, having Derek Carr as your quarterback, or sitting here like us rooting for Jimmy Garoppolo. I got to say, rooting for Derek Carr is a lot more maddening.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you bring that up, B, because
I would rather have Jimmy Garoppolo call me crazy.
Well, so I'm looking right now at the NFC standings, and we got an opportunity to watch Arizona and Seattle play each other, and then we got a chance to watch Tampa Bay versus the Rams yesterday. And I'm just looking at the NFC as a whole, and you bring up Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm glad that you do. If you look at who's at the top of all the divisions right now, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, 8-0, leading the NFC East. The Seahawks are leading the NFC West right now. Geno Smith, they're 6-3, okay? Then you look at the NFC North, and you got the Vikings at 7-1, all right? This is feeling like I'm looking around, and I'm going, the Niners, I want them to win the West, but they feel like a playoff team today.
They do. And they feel like they can. Well, Seattle's tough, and that Thursday night game between the Niners and Seattle. Yeah, we've learned our lesson on that one.
I thought they were tanking the year, and I thought they would be a team that would be top 5 and be looking at a quarterback. And boy, were we all wrong, all of us.
I got respect for the Minnesota Vikings being 7-1. It's not easy winning on the road in the NFL. For them to rally 17-7 in that fashion, I give them credit.
Absolutely.
Minnesota's got a new swagger to them.
So I'm looking at this today, and I guess as you bring up Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm looking at these quarterbacks that are leading the teams. Jalen Hurts, Mariota. Let's put Tom Brady to the side. Tom Brady's the unicorn. He's the outlier, and they're right now tied with the Atlanta in the NFC South. Mariota, Geno Smith, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, and Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll throw those guys in there, all right? Of those guys, who do you trust? Like, who do you really, truly trust come December, January, February? Do you really, truly believe in the Vikings, who you represented right there, who you referenced?
So, I'm not sure if I believe in the Vikings, but I'll say this about quarterbacks. I think the more experience you have going into the playoffs without a Super Bowl, there's more pressure on you to win the Super Bowl. So, a guy like Jalen Hurts, for example, has not been – he's been in one playoff run, and he got to play against Tampa Bay last year.
Yes.
The pressure on him is not as immense as it is on Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Or Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes.
So I think that benefits him. Like, you think about Tom Brady. When did he win the Super Bowl? Second year.
Yes.
Ben Roethlisberger won it really early in his career. Russell Wilson won it really early. So that takes a lot of pressure. Mahomes. So that takes a lot of pressure on you for not winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like Josh Allen this year going into the playoffs in Buffalo, there's a lot of pressure on that organization too, because they haven't won yet. Mahomes and company have been written off, and they're saying, look, we're back again. We're back. That's why Joe Burrow going on that Super Bowl run last year. There wasn't as much pressure on the Cincinnati Bengals to go on that run, and not as much pressure on Joe Burrow. So when I look at the pressure point, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins, maybe it's a little Geno Smith if he gets into the playoffs. And Geno's playing some good football
right now, if you're just asking, he's been a backup in 3 playoff games.
Yep.
Zero stats.
So
that means he hasn't played
yet.
In the playoffs.
Hasn't played.
Your boy Jalen Hurts, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions in the 1 playoff game last year.
Last year against Tampa.
Okay. Kirk Cousins, 1-3 record, lost to the Niners in 2019, had a huge win in 2020.
Right.
Drew Brees game. He had a game-winning drive in that one.
Yep.
Okay, but he was mediocre for the majority of that game.
And people will remember Dalvin Cook carried that team in the first half.
Yes.
Dalvin Cook opened up everything for Kirk Cousins in that football game. So I think going into these NFC playoffs, the most pressure will be on Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
The second most pressure will be on a guy like Dak Prescott.
That's a good.
Been in the playoffs, been in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and he's kind of a veteran at this point.
And of all the guys we're referencing, makes the most money.
There you go.
All right, he makes more money right now than Kirk Cousins, which is kind of crazy. So Jimmy Garoppolo, just to give people his record, 7 games, but he was not one of the starters in one of the games because that was in New England. 6 as a starter, 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Those are his playoff stats.
Not good.
No, but he's won. He's got 2 losses and 4 wins. So you look at all these guys. If I combined Hurts, Mariota, Geno, and Kirk Cousins, Jimmy's got more wins, whether you believe in quarterback stats like a win, if you believe in that, he has more wins than all those guys combined. Should you trust Jimmy over Jalen, over Mariota, over Geno Smith, over Kirk Cousins, as you look at the NFC right now?
We've seen Mariota win 1 playoff game coming back against the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember that wild game?
I've got his numbers right here.
Alex Smith's last game as a Kansas City Chief where he threw a touchdown pass to himself in that football game. Atlanta's kind of playing with house money right there, a year ahead of schedule. They're still looking for a quarterback. And as Baldy said, even though they lost yesterday to the Chargers, they do play extremely hard. They're physical. They should have won the game. Credit to the Chargers, which sets up a monster game at Levi Stadium. They're 5-3.
We'll get to that.
They're coming. This is going to be a fun football game next Sunday. I don't know if it's that I trust Jimmy Garoppolo. It's that I trust the playmakers and the defense of the 49ers to get through January against these teams because they've been there before. If the Niners are leading, say, in the third quarter in Philadelphia, and Jalen Hurts is struggling, all of a sudden, we know how restless that crowd gets.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We know how tight people get. Same thing with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, where they've had a history of failures in that city. when it comes to Minnesota and the Vikings. I don't know if I trust Jimmy, but I trust Shanahan, Jimmy, and the Niners as a whole, as a team.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just one player, right? Because Kirk Cousins is going to make throws. They've got weapons galore. But do I trust him in the playoff game?
I feel like he could tap out of a playoff game because I watched him do that against the Niners, and maybe I'm holding that one game in a little higher regard than I should.
That defense just suffocated him. They couldn't get anything
Him
going.
and Dalvin, they tapped
They were
out.
getting hit. It was too physical for them.
Agreed. You know,
the Niners, we know, and say what you want about Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy doesn't tap out. He may make bad decisions. But Jimmy's one tough SOB.
Yeah, he doesn't tap out.
He don't tap out. Jimmy's a tough dude.
Well, do you grant, so like Jalen Hurts, you keep referencing, and I agree with you. That's a really interesting point about the younger you are, maybe kind of like you don't know any better, and that's very interesting.
And Jalen, I look at this big time.
Well, this is what I'm going to go to.
College games.
Okay, so I have
big time games.
I have his college games here. In 2017, as a college player, SEC title game, Peach Bowl, national title game. 2018, Sugar Bowl, national title game. He gets replaced, obviously, by Tua. All right, 2019 in Oklahoma, Peach Bowl. I mean, those are some big-time games. Does that translate for you when it comes to, like, we talk big games and we just think only the NFL? Don't you get a little something from some of those college games?
I believe you do, because these are the biggest games and the biggest games. Tom Brady played in the big-time Orange Bowl against Alabama. He played in big-time games against Ohio State. You look at Peyton Manning, big-time games in college, right?
Yes.
SEC championships.
Yes.
National championship against Nebraska where they get smoked. Big-time games against Florida. You get credit for that when you play in front of 100,000 people.
I'm with you.
Alabama's always on TV. So Jalen Hurts went toe-to-toe with Deshaun Watson and Clemson. Hell, they should have won the freaking football game. Should have won it, and he played good.
Deshaun Watson's a great example. He's another guy played in nothing but big time games
and balls out at the NFL level. Who else you want to? Drew Brees, Purdue was nobody. Ended up going to a Rose Bowl. That matters to me.
Yeah.
So I think you do get a little bit of credit for that. And so when you look at Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is like, look, man, I got A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith. We've been here before. This is nothing different.
I look at them and I know everyone's going to point to the quarterback, and that's what we do in sports. They're a trench team. I mean, they have the best offensive line and one of the better defensive lines in the game, and that's how they dominate. But at some point, you're going to ask that quarterback to make plays.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just asking out loud, Niner fans. Like, you've watched everyone. You got a chance to see Geno Smith yesterday. Do you truly believe in this guy? Do you trust him in December? Because the Niners are going to have to go through Seattle at some point, whether it's for the division or whether it's a playoff matchup.
Well, you look at their schedule, the 49ers, that is. And it starts next week against the Chargers. They hit. Derwin James Jr. is going to be flying everywhere. Khalil Mack made a big-time play yesterday, forcing a fumble.
I couldn't believe that.
Ripping the ball out of Drake London's hand.
They were about to
Huge
score.
play. Huge play for them. That was a gutsy win for the Chargers. They don't win that games in years past. So you got a tough defense there. Arizona Monday night, Mexico City. It feels like a game, and I didn't know Cliff Kingsbury's. I forgot that he signed an extension, so he's going to be around for a while. But that feels like the tap-out game for Arizona.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football, Mexico City. They're going to be tough. Division games are not easy.
I love how you've labeled that the tap-out game. I worry that they're going to.
They are.
I
they
worry that
are.
They're going to give us their best shot.
You know they are. It's Arizona.
I know.
They're so fascinating.
I can't count them out.
By the way, I thought they were going to turn a quarter. What a joke they are. They are such a mess. They're such a mess. So then you got them, and then you got the Saints. We'll be watching the Saints tonight.
Do you trust and believe in the Saints?
I don't trust Andy Dalton, but they do got a defense.
And what about if it's Jameis who's in there?
I don't trust Jameis either.
I know.
So I don't trust their quarterback, but their defense is going to come to play.
Do you trust Geno Smith?
I don't, but they got some mojo up there in Seattle. Woolen, that corner, is shut down everybody.
And Wusu, the linebacker, came out of nowhere.
Bruce Irvin, all of a sudden, I thought he was retired.
I did too.
Bruce Irvin's making plays.
I know.
And then you got Kenneth Walker III, a running.
Well, he's a stud.
Finally, can we all admit that running backs matter?
We're here.
Can we? No, hold on. But let's get before we get there. Running backs matter, folks.
Yes, they do.
Kenneth Walker III has changed their offense.
Ask Ryan Tannehill's career if running backs matter. And that's the other thing. Like, as I look at all these quarterbacks.
Joe Mixon yesterday, you see him?
Yeah, he's ridiculous. As I look at Jalen and Mariota and Geno and Kirk Cousins and Jimmy even, Running backs have helped all of these quarterbacks. Yep. Running game has helped all of them. So I know we all want to just throw the ball. Like, if I gave Patrick Mahomes an elite running game, wouldn't it be lights out for the rest of the
He wouldn't have to throw 70 times
exactly.
a game.
Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a scat back.
I personally believe that at the end of the day, Kansas City's going to be held back because of the lack of a running game.
He threw 60 times yesterday.
I know. So, 68, 69.
But now I'm watching, and it's just interesting. A quick aside, as we talk about who we trust in the NFC, a team that's kind of rising right now, and they lost a tough game yesterday, but I'm seeing this kid emerge. It's Justin Fields. And I'm seeing now 49er fans start to, say, maybe we made the wrong pick. Mm-hmm. Maybe we made the wrong decision. And this is what I would say to everyone. I like Justin Fields coming out. I don't know if they made the right pick or not, but it's funny how I didn't hear a darn thing for almost a year and a half as he struggled, but he flashed here and there, and he struggled, and the team around him wasn't very good, and they went through a coaching change. But you saw a flash here. You saw a flash there. I'm watching a team last night in Tennessee. They're a win-now team.
Right.
And we all believe, everyone, just be real with yourself. Nobody believes in Tannehill.
We've seen Tannehill come up short in the wild card game against Baltimore. We see him come up short with home field last year against Cincinnati. And they had home field.
I know.
And he came up, she threw a pick on the first play of the game.
And like a lot of average quarterbacks, he'll have moments.
Right.
But he always regresses back to the pumpkin that he is.
Right.
And there's a reason why they're giving Malik some opportunities now and why they drafted him. They need to flip the page. And look, Malik is 2 games in. Malik Willis, who played last night, 2 games in. And people are destroying the kid last night. Look, he played very subpar in the second half. Mm-hmm. Did you watch the game, though? Because I thought I saw flashes.
I thought I saw flashes,
too. But this is my overall arching thing. Whether it's Justin Fields, Malik, whomever, even Trevor Lawrence, who I think kind of stinks right now. All these young quarterbacks are going to struggle. Jalen Hurts is getting an 8-0 start now because of the 22 games he played prior where they didn't look so hot.
I remember the playoff game against Tampa Bay, people were saying, Jalen Hurts is not the guy. They're not ready. Jalen Hurts is not the dude. He can't win anything. Now look at Jalen Hurts. Now look at him. Tua Tagovailoa, too. How many people quit on him? They go to Chicago yesterday, and he missed some throws, and I'm just like, Tua, you got to put that on the dime. But you know what? They're 6-3, and we're going to see them at Levi Stadium, and they've built around Tua. Hey, we're going to get shifty, quick guys where you put the ball in their hands, and they can make plays. Tyreek Hill has already got over 1,000 yards. Jalen Waddle's a stud, right? And we're going to see them December 4th. We're going to see them December 4th. That's not an easy game. But I'm looking at all these guys. Justin Fields, to your point, he goes to Gillette Stadium, and they beat the Patriots 33-14. They beat the Patriots. And Justin Fields goes out there, and I'm saying, damn, he's taking shot after shot after shot after shot. And he goes out there and balls out. Balls out, right? Justin Fields has gotten better every single week, and they make the deal for Chase Claypool. Mm-hmm. Now you got another weapon. Now you got running backs. Now you got a tight end in Cole Kmet. And this is why you can't give up on young prospects early. Mike Martz, hello. Week 1, you said he was the worst quarterback you ever seen. How you feel about that now? You can make the argument that Justin Fields would be the top pick in a redraft over Trevor Lawrence, over Zach Wilson, over Mac Jones, over Trey Lance. Those are just the facts. He's getting better and better and better, but you got to play through it. You have to play through it. By the way, I was just thinking about this. We talk about James Wiseman. He's only played since the calendar flipped to 2020. James Wiseman has played 49 games. Since the calendar flipped to 2020, Trey Lance has started 6 football games.
That's nuts.
And then you think about Joey Bart being the number 2 overall pick in 2018.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how little baseball he's played.
Yeah.
It's like we don't know anything about these dudes. The one thing we do know about guys, though, like a Justin Fields, like a Zach Wilson, like a Tua Tagovailoa, you have to let them play, which is why I'm excited to see Jonathan Kuminga play. You got to let these youngsters play.
Well, and on top of that, just to use a basketball analogy, after year 1, Tyreek Evans was going to be the next coming of LeBron James.
Right.
And he was the rookie of the year.
Yep.
And Steph Curry, maybe he'll be Jason Terry. You know what I mean? 10 years later, what's that looking like? After 1 year, everybody was quick to say, Mac Jones, how you feeling a little later?
Right.
The point that I'm going at when I look at all these quarterbacks, Mariota's a great example. Mariota bounced around. Nobody believed in him.
He got benched.
He's playing good ball right now.
He got benched for Tannehill.
Do I trust him in December? No, not really. But the point is that it takes time for a lot of these guys. And I'm looking up at this, and I'm saying to myself, Geno Smith, We wrote Geno Smith off a million different times.
Laughed at him.
He's playing good ball.
Dude, he's playing
really
great
good
football.
ball right now.
He's playing great football right now.
Here's the funny part, though. I still don't necessarily believe him in December and January because I do have to see it.
Right.
Which I think is a fair perspective to have. But I guess as I look at all these quarterbacks this morning, and I'm looking at the 49ers situation with Jimmy Garoppolo, and look, his playoff stats don't look great.
They don't.
But he's won a lot of big-time December games that I think matter. Rams games in 2019, up in Seattle in 2019. Think of the road game that he won in 2021 against the LA Rams. There's been some big-time wins on his record, and I'm looking at these other guys outside of Brady. Maybe Jimmy isn't the worst guy to go heading into the playoffs with.
And let's be real about something, Shasky. Let's be real about something. Playoff numbers are not going to be pretty.
No.
Go look at John Elway's playoff numbers. Go look at Peyton Manning's playoff numbers.
But John Elway has, and I'll let you finish, the drive. For example,
a drive.
Early in his career.
He has a drive.
They have these seminal moments.
Right, they have seminal moments, but he didn't get his Super Bowl until his last 2 years of his career.
Agreed.
Up until that point,
but he went to three.
Before they went to that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because before they won the Super Bowl, we forget Jacksonville went to Denver and beat the Broncos with Mark Brunell and Keenan McCardell and Jimmy Smith and Tony Baselli. They were loaded.
15-1 that year.
They were talking about them being the greatest team ever.
I remember that.
And they got beat. So playoff numbers, like if you go look at Ben Roethlisberger, his player, the first Super Bowl Ben Roethlisberger won, he was awful.
Bonte, I looked at Peyton Manning's, and we love Peyton Manning, everyone. He lost in the first round, whatever that was for him. First game, 8 times.
That's what I'm saying.
8
That's
times.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying here. So Jimmy, here's one thing I know about Jimmy. He's going to keep battling. And now with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk, you got 4 studs if you can keep them healthy. He's got playmakers where you get the ball to in a playoff game in cold weather. Who's going to want to tackle McCaffrey? Who's going to want to tackle Deebo? Who's going to want to tackle Kittle?
Don't you think that the one thing that's missing on their resume, Shanahan and Jimmy G, when we talk about them together, the big time come from behind victory? Wouldn't you agree? Like, even the New Orleans game, it felt more like a shootout than a come from behind win.
It was a shootout.
Do they have a come from behind win? Like, I'm talking multiple touchdowns, second half. Like, you got to throw to win.
They don't.
Okay. Adding Christian McCaffrey as the unique player that he is, don't you think that would help them in a scenario, whether it's a December or January late game scenario?
It would help, but you know the strength of this team, and I saw it last year. We both saw it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Get out and get a lead.
Yeah, they play tight games.
They got a lead against Dallas, and they was able to hold on. You get a tight lead, you start running the football, you make a couple plays in the second half, boom, 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 gone. Right? You win the game because you have a strong defense. I don't want this team playing from behind. I don't want to put Jimmy in that position because Jimmy's not that guy, right? Jimmy's not that guy. Hurry up offense, like we're watching the Chiefs go 98 yards. We're watching Brady go 44 yards.
He got the ball with 21 seconds last night, and everyone was like, yeah, they're going to score.
They're going to score.
Even though they didn't, but everyone just assumed they would.
We assumed they were going to get 3.
Yeah.
Brady went 60 yards in 44 seconds, no timeouts. Now, Brady's the GOAT. But I also look at the Rams defense saying, what the hell are you doing giving them the sidelines? Why are you playing 15 yards off the wide receiver, giving them the out routes? What are you doing?
Well, Stafford's a guy, B, if we're just looking at guys that played for a long time. He played in big-time bowl games in Georgia, and he's had some playoff moments with the Detroit Lions, and fizzled out. In his one opportunity to do it, he had a game-winning drive in the NFC Championship game, and he had a game-winning drive in the Super Bowl. So you got to give the guy credit. But it was later in his career.
You have to give him credit. So out of all these quarterbacks to trust in the NFC, Jalen Hurts, Dak, Kirk Cousins, Rodgers is done. The Packers are
Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Mariota, Jalen Hurts,
Brady,
and then
it may be Brady.
Everyone's going to say Brady's the GOAT, so let's just throw him to the side. He's the old gunslinger. You give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I'm not saying that Jimmy over. I'm not saying I'm taking Jimmy 1, but I'm certainly not taking him last. And I think he's closer to 1 than he is to 6.
I'm with you there. Haven't been there before.
Yeah.
And there's something to him knowing that, hey, I'm playing for my 49ers career. Because now you're starting to hear noise about him coming back, and I don't even want to go there yet.
Well, you're already hearing New England talking about bringing him back.
Hey, well, the Niners bring him back. Well, they dumped Trey. I don't even want to go there yet. I'm not even there yet. But Jimmy is playing for something.
Yeah.
And they've got some mojo to him. And they got a chance to go on a run here. Now, it's not going to be easy. But I do believe this offense can average over 30 points the rest of the year. From this point on.
Okay.
From this point on. Because of the playmakers that he has. Jimmy, just get the ball to McCaffrey. Just get the ball to Debo. Get the ball to Ayuk. Get the ball to Kittle. These guys will make big chunk plays in playoff games that flips the entire momentum. And now you get healthier on defense where you're hitting and you've been there before. I do trust Jimmy this year. I do trust Jimmy in a playoff game.
It's interesting how this thing's kind of come full circle, right? I mean, and I'm just looking at the NFC like we all thought the Packers were going to win that division. I think most people, right?
They're cooked.
They look terrible.
They're terrible. And they've got a slew of injuries. Rashawn Gary's now out for the year.
And Rodgers isn't
Aaron
playing
Jones.
good. It's okay to say it. Don't just blame their receivers.
By the way, Rodgers yesterday, I played like crap, but I played really hard. I didn't give up.
Yeah, you're getting $150 million over the next 3 years.
I would hope you didn't give up.
Yeah.
We've seen you give up enough. You give up on plays. You give up on routes. I don't want to hear that from you. So they're done.
Well, he's another one, as we talk about how talented he is, and no one disputes regular season accolades. In the playoffs, he's left a lot to be desired.
A lot.
I mean,
a lot. How many duds has he thrown up? Brett Favre.
I can't unsee him versus Tom Brady, 4th down, and he lets LaFleur tell him he's not going for it. When everyone on the planet knew that he had to score a touchdown there and that a field goal was a loss.
And on a play before that, he should have ran and he threw it.
Yes.
He should have ran.
I know.
You know, that 2-play sequence was all-time bad.
I also think the worst loss in his career is losing to the Niners last year where they don't score an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that's the worst loss of his career.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt about that. Missing wide open receivers because he wanted to force feed Devontae Adams. MVS was open on multiple. That's why MVS was like, I can't wait to sign with Kansas City.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get out of here. So they're done. Arizona, I don't want to stick a fork in them, but I believe they're done, and I don't trust them whatsoever.
I do think they'll play us tough both games.
No doubt. They will. They will.
I'm not dismissing them.
Division
and Seattle, I'm telling you, look at Seattle and the brand of football they're playing. They're going to be tough to beat. DK Metcalf looks great right now. But I'm excited that the Rams feel like they're done, and the Seahawks, we were ready to put the Seahawk rivalry to bed.
And now it's not.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
No doubt. So I think the Niners are in a great spot. I think they're in a great spot right now. Just get into the dance. Because with that defensive line, you're going to pressure these quarterbacks into making big-time mistakes. There's a lot of mistake-prone quarterbacks. Right now, Jalen Hurts, if you pull up, I don't have the numbers in front of me, he's probably the one quarterback in the NFC not making the mistakes. I'm seeing Brady even make a lot of mistakes. He's throwing a lot of interceptable footballs.
Yeah.
They had no business winning that game yesterday.
They have a poor offensive line.
Very poor, and we knew that coming into the season. But Jalen Hurts may be the one quarterback in the NFC who's played mistake-free football for the most part.
Yeah, but now he's going to have a lot of pressure on him when you are the top seed in the NFC. At least right now they are. And you're undefeated right now, and they'll probably lose a game down the stretch. There's a lot of pressure with that, B.
There is.
There's a lot of pressure. We've seen a lot of number one seeds bow out.
Out of all these youngsters, don't you believe Jalen Hurts, everything you've seen from him at Alabama, at Oklahoma.
He feels unflappable.
He does. I mean, this guy got his job taken in a national championship game.
And had enough wherewithal to be as professional about it, even though it's a collegiate setting, as any veteran that I've seen in the NFL get removed.
And it came back to Bama the next season.
I know.
And it helped them win the SEC championship game when Tua got hurt.
It's pretty
Came
incredible.
in and replaced him and beat Georgia to get back to the national championship game. I mean, wow.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Oh, my God, that guy. While we're here for just a quick second, I love when Saban loses. I really do. There's just something about when Saban loses, the world just feels better. The coffee tastes better. The air is more crisp. God.
It is. It does feel good.
Doesn't it?
But I'm going to miss Alabama in the playoffs.
Are you?
A little bit.
They'll find a way to sneak in.
A little bit.
Some chaos will happen, and they'll find their way in.
Something about Brian Kelly winning, though. I can't stand that guy.
I can't stand Brian
Fake
Kelly.
accent and everything.
Hey, look it. Brian Kelly can coach, though.
You can coach.
Say what you want. He can recruit and he can coach. I know you guys hate him.
Hey.
He can recruit and coach.
Was his name Jalen Daniels? He's gotten better as the season gone along.
He looked good.
I didn't think anything of him when they played Florida State.
And was that Jason Taylor's kid?
Yeah, Mason Taylor. Man. He's got a kid at LSU.
Yeah, we're getting old.
Kid at Arizona. Yeah, we're getting very old.
So you believe if we were just kind of doing this, you're going to take Jimmy with either the second or third pick in terms of the guys that we believe are going to be the teams that we believe are going to be playoff teams.
I may be smoking something. Promise. I'm not high, folks. Brady's the number one pick.
Put Brady aside. Of course he's the number one. He's the number one pick in the whole league until he retires.
I'm not taking Dak.
No. I'm not either.
I love Dak, but I'm not taking him.
No, I'm not either, which is crazy to say.
It's crazy to say.
And I'm not taking Kirk Cousins over Jimmy.
There's no way in hell I do that.
He's got to prove it to me.
There's no way I do that.
Even though he has the game-winning drive on his resume in the playoffs.
I'm taking Jimmy over Geno.
Yeah, Jimmy.
I'm taking Jimmy over Kirk. Call me crazy. I'm taking Jimmy Garoppolo.
like that.
Outside of Tom Brady, I'm taking Jimmy Garoppolo over the field in the NFC. That sounds insane, especially with the way we discussed Jimmy Garoppolo this season.
And he doesn't really have a signature moment in the playoffs, you know? I mean, he just doesn't. What's his signature playoff moment?
Yeah, he does. I mean,
even like I said, Kirk Cousins beat Drew Brees with a game-winning drive, money on the line in New Orleans. It's a big-time win for him in terms of playoffs. And then even Marcus Mariota has a win where he beat Kansas City in that crazy game that we always reference. Alex Smith's final game for Kansas City. Geno, 0 playoff starts or anything like that. Jalen Hurts lost his only playoff game he's been in.
I'm going to give Jalen Hurts a pass because he lost to Brady in Tampa.
It doesn't, it almost feels like it doesn't count.
And Philly, they overachieved last season. They did. Jimmy doesn't have a signature moment. In the playoffs, he doesn't have it yet. All his moments are negative moments. I guess you could say the first drive against Minnesota where he throws a touchdown pass to who? Was it Kendrick Warner, Emmanuel Sanders? I mean, he does it. He does it.
Do you have to have one for us to give you the benefit of the doubt?
I just need you to win a Super Bowl. Don't make mistakes.
Because I feel like the Burrow legend now, after what he did last year, we're like, oh yeah, Burrow could do whatever now.
What's Peyton Manning's signature moment during his last Super Bowl run with the Denver Broncos?
It was having a touchdown drive on the very first series against Carolina, and it was like, that was it. He just executed a perfect little scripted drive.
Right. Not a moment, right? It's just C.J. Anderson ran the ball hard for him and called it today.
I mean, even in the Super Bowl, he doesn't. It was a rainy Super Bowl win. Dominic Rhodes, I believe, or was it Joseph Adai? Was MVP.
Right. Joseph Adai. Yeah, Joseph Adai was MVP.
One of those two.
One of those two were MVP. Yeah, he didn't have a great moment. He threw a touchdown pass to Reggie Wayne, but he also threw 2 picks, I believe, in that football game.
He also threw the horrible pick against New Orleans that gave, I think, Tracy Porter,
the pick 6 for the game. Ben Roethlisberger, his first Super Bowl run. Didn't have a signature moment. Antoine Randall had a big touchdown pass, but he did. I will give him credit for that second one.
The Mike Wallace catch. Oh, was it Mike Wallace?
No, Santonio Holmes.
It's one
of the best catches in Super Bowl history.
Yeah.
So, Drew Brees that year, did he have the signature moment in that Super Bowl? Was the onside kick and the Tracy Porter pick 6?
I know.
So I don't need Jimmy to have a signature moment. I seen him to play mistake-free football. Play mistake-free football.
Well, I think that's the big thing. Was I was looking at all the stats for everyone, and I'm like, wow, Mariota had 4 touchdowns and 1 interception in his 2 games in the playoffs. Okay, Jimmy 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in his 6 games. Right. And then a couple of fumbles mixed in there too. It's like
I love this. I love texts like this. You two aren't allowed to root for Jimmy Garoppolo. Dude, we got season tickets, man.
Come on, man.
Like, come on, man. Like, stop.
Okay, it's like what I say at the end of. Have you ever seen the end of Last Black Man in San Francisco?
Oh yeah.
He's on the Muni bus, and he listens to these 2 techies who just moved to San Francisco, and he's born and raised in the Hunters Point in San Francisco, and he's listening to them talking like, I hate this, I hate that about San Francisco, and he turns to him and goes, "Excuse me, you're not allowed to hate San Francisco.
Right.
Because you got to love it first."
Yep.
And that's the way I feel about being a 49er fan. I won't allow you to hate some of our players unless you love it the way I do.
Right. And you can't knock us for loving the 49ers. Again, I feel very good about the 49ers. They've gone through, it's kind of like the Warriors last year, and I know the Warriors ended up winning championship, but after they got through March, right, and they were struggling. Remember they were all struggling? We brought up the panic meter or whatnot. And then we get to the playoffs. And you knew Steph was back. You knew Draymond was back. You knew Clay was there. You knew Wiggins was out of his slump. You knew JP was on a heater. Looney was looking good. And I said, you know what? I feel good about the matchup against Denver. And I feel like they could beat Memphis. And I feel like Phoenix, they're going to choke at some point, whether it's against the Warriors or the Mavericks. And then you see felt good about that's how I feel about the Niners right now. They got through all this, the roller coaster of the first half of the season. Trey getting hurt, Trent Williams getting hurt, Kittle getting hurt, not starting the season off. Jimmy Ward not starting the season off. He has a hamstring injury, then he breaks his hand. You missed Bosa for a couple games. You had all these injuries. You had all this drama. You had all the finger pointing. You had players running to coaches, players and coaches running to Michael Silver. And now off the bye week, they're 4-4, and they control their freaking destiny, and they're getting healthier, and they added Christian McCaffrey.
That McCaffrey thing's big.
It's massive. It's massive. It was a Super Bowl move. And to beat the Rams in the fashion that they beat the Rams. They didn't just beat the Rams. Shanahan said, okay, Jimmy, we're up 24-14. We're going to continue to throw the ball. And he throws one to Ross Dwelly, and he throws a dime to George Kittle. And I said, he's allowing Jimmy to throw.
Yeah.
Let's go. I feel really good about where the 49ers are at right now.
Maybe it's because they didn't play yesterday, and, you're sitting there, and everything kind of goes away when you don't play, right? You just, I don't know, you think higher of your team. I'm watching Seattle. I'm watching Arizona in that game, and I'm like, Seattle's going to be tough, but they can be beat, right? They're going to be tough. I'm not dismissing
That's not
them.
going to be an easy game. Short week.
This might be Pete Carroll's best coaching job.
Yep.
I mean, I thought they were going to be a bottom 5 team. I was way wrong. Noah Fant is hitting deep balls down the field on little check down plays. They're running the ball. They're physical. They're playing very good complementary football. The Rams and Tampa Bay, I'm watching that game, and I'm like, Tampa Bay is broken.
They are. But you know what? With Tampa Bay, they do have a defense. But if you get them on the road, it's Brady. It's still Brady. But I don't believe in Tampa. They're flawed.
I have a hard time taking the leap of Tampa Bay has a defense.
Right.
If you're just solely watching that game, the Rams' offense is so disproportionate.
Yeah,
it is passing, and they had their longest run of the year yesterday.
I know.
21 yards.
I know.
Malcolm Brown.
Was it Malcolm Brown? I thought it was Henderson.
Maybe it was Henderson.
Because I was watching it.
And I was like, what? They literally said it on the broadcast. I was like, I'm not taking you serious.
Right. No,
that's your longest run of the year?
You can't take the Rams serious. What about the Kings? You taking them serious?
With the Warriors?
Yeah.
I mean,
we're talking to Slater in about 8 minutes. You taking them serious?
I have serious question marks on the Warriors right now. Let me just. Who's in, who's out of the rotation? What's Kuminga's role now that he's back in?
Well, a lot of people will be happy. It sounds like James Wiseman is out of the rotation. And for some reason, he's a number 2 overall pick, so he's become the whipping boy of all the struggles.
I don't like that term.
I don't like that term either. Let me use another one. He's been scapegoated.
Thank you.
As the problem for the Golden State Warriors.
There we go.
Scapegoated.
Yes.
Which is not fair, but it is what it is.
And Kuminga is now the quote-unquote saving grace. And he'll make mistakes, but boy, he just brings a level of physicality and athleticism that they need as a diver.
They do.
And a cutter.
They do. Oh, boy. This is going to be a fun second half of the season. Baldy tomorrow to talk about the Niners. He was in Atlanta covering Chargers, Falcons. Going to be a good game. But to your point about that quarterback conversation, it's kind of wild that I trust Jimmy over a lot of these dudes.
No, it's crazy. But I've been thinking about this, and you just look at it right now, and you're like, Hurts, Mariota, throw Brady to the side. Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Dak Prescott. You say it out loud.
It may be Daniel Jones, too.
I hope it's Daniel Jones, because that's a team I know we can beat. Right? Daniel Jones hasn't thrown for more than 200 yards, but a couple times this year.
Yep, no doubt. No doubt. All right, it's time for the Boxer and Gerson injury report.
It's time for the injury report. That really hurt. Brought to you by Boxer and Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years.
The Warriors are getting closer to seeing Dante DiVincenzo back on the court. Warriors guard, was able to practice with the team over the weekend for the first time since suffering a hamstring injury last month. DiVincenzo is not expected to suit up tonight when the Warriors host the Kings at Chase Center, but he is expected to get a few more practices in this week and could be cleared to play for Friday night's game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. By the way, Cleveland Cavaliers, watched them yesterday in the second half against the Lakers. They got a squad. Spinoti, your Lakers, They don't have a squad, but the Cavaliers went in there, it's just snuffed them out.
Did you see that Migos formed as a group in 2013, and yet LeBron claims that he was the first one bumping it in 2010 in the Miami Heat locker room?
LeBron's too much, man.
I saw a whole thread on lies that LeBron has said.
Yeah,
he predicted with his homies Kobe would go for 80.
Yeah, I know. LeBron's just got to chill. He also called out Kyrie Irving.
Oh.
LeBron, I mean, Lakers are a joke. They're an absolute joke. By the way, Westbrook played well. Bet you don't want to trade his ass now, huh? Yeah. I saw a report from Bill Simmons saying that Anthony Davis is on the block. How does Bill Simmons know? Anyway, their injury report brought to you by Boxer Gerson, Northern California's premier worker compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. What's coming up on the game, sponsored by Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises, and vote yes on Proposition 31. The one and only Anthony Slater here on the Morning Roast.
Yes on Prop 31 means protecting our kids from nicotine addiction. Vote yes on 31. Ad paid for by Yes on Proposition 31. Committee to Protect California Kids, sponsored by nonprofit health organizations. Committee major funding from Michael R. Bloomberg.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
Universal Studios Hollywood is where the holidays come together. We've tested it. Festive food with refreshing Coca-Cola. Family, friends, and fa-la-la. Dazzling lights cranked up to maximum merriment. The Grinch and his dog Max stealing your tree. All the science adds up. It's the awesomest celebration of the season. Save $20 on a Coca-Cola 2-day general admission ticket. Offer ends 12/14/22. Restrictions apply. Details at universalstudioshollywood.com/Coke offer.
Hi, welcome to the IKEA Holiday Prep event. Here to help you host the season with offers, in-store workshops, and more.
Oh, great. I may have invited the whole neighborhood for the holidays.
Don't worry, you can do this. To start, IKEA family members save 20% on Venturfent Christmas tree decor and gift wrap.
You.
Oh, baby, a good Monday on the roast, having some fun. No Niners, no Warriors, so we had a stress-free weekend. Stress-free. It was a lot of fun. Good morning, everybody out there getting off your graveyard shifts. Good morning, everybody, if you're getting ready for work. If you're at work, teachers, firefighters, cops, students, all the high schools getting ready for playoff season. I saw Sarah put a whooping on my boys from Sacred Heart Saturday afternoon. SI's in a playoff. They're in the CCS Division II playoff bracket. I know Sacred Heart is. So it's playoff season. De La Salle, they beat Clayton Valley. A lot of good stuff happening in the high school scene, Shasky.
And then don't forget about volleyball because Sacred Heart beat Santa Cruz in the D3 CCS championship, I believe.
Yep. Shout out to the Irish volleyball team.
Yeah.
Those girls could play, man. They have to have a good program for a long, long time. All right, we got Anthony Slater here. But before we get Slater, don't forget to tune in to Warriors Live on 95.7 The Game, presented by Xfinity. Supercharge your home with supersonic Wi-Fi, unbeatable internet, only from Xfinity. Warriors Live, 6:30, am I correct? 6:30, 30 minutes before tip-off? 6:30. But right here at 8:03, we got Anthony Slater on 95.7 The Game Insider, who's not only a Warriors beat writer, but he's been covering the Kings as well up in Sacramento, so he knows a little bit of both. He's been up there in Sacktown. What up, Slater?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You've been getting some Kings in your system here. They beat Orlando Saturday. Not a lot of people were watching down here, but to come back like they did against Orlando was pretty cool. To see Fox go off like that and hit a shot from the logo in overtime to win that game. But let's talk about the Warriors. Fresh start homestand, I guess we could say. 5-game losing streak, of course. All 5 coming on the road. What was your biggest takeaway from that 0-5 road trip?
Oh, man. I'd say the young guys are more behind than is ideal, than it was planned in a lot of ways. I think they knew growing pains were going to happen coming into the season, but I think it's just been tougher than expected. I just didn't think they believed they were going to bleed so much when they put any type of bench units on the floor. And it's the fact that Steve Kerr is coming out and basically announcing that rotation changes are needed before he makes them, that's kind of rare for any coach really to do. But it just shows you that they are admitting that their rotation at this point is not working. And to me, that's kind of the biggest takeaway, because that's what they're clearly doing. They believe that'll help solve what's going on.
Yeah, and I just feel like they got deeper problems. Not that this isn't a problem. It absolutely is. And bench has been a problem for a variety of different versions of the Warriors for the last 6 or 7 years. But what's the number one most important thing that they have to change if they want to win?
Motivation level, I guess. It's the defense, right? What are they right now, 25th? Or at least they were right around there entering the weekend. This is a team that built that 18-2 start last year as the number one defense, and then in the playoff, held firm on that, and they won the title, and they've always succeeded this dynasty on that end of the floor. That's what's kind of been their underrated backbone, and they just don't have that right now. So if we're just identifying problem number one, it's just they can't defend a bottom 10 team in the league, or else they look like the team they're playing tonight, the Kings, right? That's been the Kings' problem for about a decade and a half. They're always bottom 10. Well, the Warriors are defending like that right now.
Anthony Slater, our 95.7 The Game Insider here on the Morning Roast with Shasky and Bonte. Slater, how relatable is it? I guess, how much does it have to do with Jordan Poole's struggles? The fact that James Wiseman has struggled so bad, does that have an impact on Jordan Poole's struggles with that second unit? What did you make of that? Because we saw Jordan Poole Friday night against the Pelicans struggle again with the over-dribbling, bad shot selection. But how much of his struggles have to do with James Wiseman?
Yeah, I think some of it, and I was definitely a proponent of really trying out the Poole-Wiseman pick and roll as kind of the identity of the second unit, but that comes with defensive issues right now, because you have a guy on the perimeter who's not really staying in front of anybody, and then you have a big on the back end who's just not ready to be an elite rim protector, and is kind of thrown into a bunch of action and exploited. And obviously the numbers just from a plus minus standpoint don't look good. As far as Poole goes, though, he seems like he's pressing. I believe Kerr post game he just said he's trying too hard, and I do think when he's kind of panicked or pressing like that, he reverts to who he's kind of been as his core as a basketball player, which is he dances with the basketball, right? It's a lot of side-to-side stuff. You saw the 3 carrying violations in Miami, and just they have tried to beat out of him over the last few years that, I guess just like the ball sticking. They've tried to 0.5 basketball, catch it and move it, or shoot it or pass it, but Warriors style, movement. And he, in some ways he's equipped for that. He's very good off the ball. I think he's learned a lot of Steph Curry's pet actions, and he shoots with Klay Thompson coming off pin downs in practice. And so much of what he does, you saw it during the playoff run. But at the same time, I just think when he's like, hey, I'm the leader of this second unit, or in a game like the Pelicans one, I'm our primary scorer, playmaker, best player on the floor, he just does too much out there, and he's doing too much right now. But I mean, this is not, we've seen this with Jordan Poole. We saw it last season, during long stretches. So it's not something I'm overly concerned about, but he does need to play much better.
Well, reading Jordan's body language and just the teams in general, where's the joy gone? Like, it just feels, and I know, it's a long season, it's November. This was a team that played so charismatic and played so united, and chemistry is the word I keep coming back to. Where is that?
Well, they're not winning. That has a lot to do with it. When you're 3-5 and coming into the game, pressure's on, people are critiquing you. Hey, Jordan Poole, you're 2-9. Well, guess what everybody's talking about right now? The fact that you're 2-9 shooting in the middle of the second quarter. And also, it's tougher to defend the title. There's less they entered last season with just such hunger to climb back into the conversation. You had people picking them as out of the playoffs last year. I mean, I thought I was being optimistic. I was like, 6th seed maybe. They were like, no, they wanted to, stamp themselves as elite, and that just provided such, almost playoff level motivation in the first couple months of last season. And that leads to just hungry play. And I just don't think that's there. I think we kind of knew that, but it's just not as much there for them. They're being hunted instead of being the hunter earlier this season. I think you're just seeing that in, kind of bland regular season basketball. Whereas, the Orlando Magic have all these young guys that are like, ooh, we got the Warriors in town tonight. About to make a name for ourselves tonight. That's just kind of the difference. And it's not like that team last season had, the last thing we remember of them is that unbelievable playoff run. There were 6-14 stretches where the basketball was really dull.
Yeah.
And, the defense was bad.
Otto Porter Jr. was their best player for a stretch there. You know what I mean? In terms of consistency. Yeah. Just let me interrupt you here. And I don't mean to, you don't think the Draymond Green punch has anything to do with what's going on now? Because it does feel like the chemistry, fair or not, it just feels off.
Iciness is what you said a few weeks ago, Slater. Iciness.
Yeah. I would say this. The tension, directly related to the punch feels like it's lifted. If you're in the locker room, if you're around the team, I mean, it does feel like, old Draymond, joking with the veterans, chatting with the young guys. There's no more conversations I have around the team where, it's directly, you're talking about the punch. Where I would say I have heard, the indirect effect of it is you do talk to some, coaches or, people around the team, and it's like, they didn't feel like they got necessary preseason prep. They don't feel like it was, and some of that is the Japan trip too, right? That was kind of a unique part of the preseason, but obviously, they had a, whatever you want to call it, a 10-day saga thrown in the middle, and they weren't as prepped for the season as they probably needed to be. And then the other thing, as far as, you're talking different, chemistry aspects, they're just super young, and I know you only added 2 more rookies, but you basically added 2 more rookies in the place of Damian Lee and JTA, who were the ready-made veterans who were dancing on the bench after big plays. You seeing that from Ryan Rollins? You seeing that from Patrick Baldwin? Yeah. There's less life, but a lot of that is just because there's a couple extra teenagers over there, and there's an empty roster spot. And
but don't you find it? But don't you find it almost laughable the way? And I'm not saying you are, but I'm seeing this from a lot of the fan base, and it's dude, people, the minute that JTA or Damian Lee checked into a game, it was oh my God, what are they doing? How could they play this guy? And now a year later, it's they're losing because Bielitsa's not here, and JTA's not here, and Damian Lee. And it's wait a minute, I thought everybody couldn't stand these guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not if they had those guys, maybe they're 4-6 right now, I don't know. I mean, they're just not playing good defense. Right. But I just think generally you're asking more about fringe stuff bench decorum right now, and life in a team, and 28-year-olds that know how to play that role, which is juice up the the life of the team on the bench. And then when you go in, and I wrote a story this morning about Kuminga. We may get to Kuminga, but he's going to be in the rotation tonight. Very well deserved. But he's on the road trip, and he's not in the rotation. Wiseman gets in foul trouble. They put him out there, and he's not ready for the first defensive possession. P.J. Washington ripped by him.
Mm-hmm.
They put him in the game in Detroit, and I put the video in the story, but he's blowing on his hands. They put him in to guard Bogdanovich, one of the best three-point shooters in the league. He's blowing on his hands because he's cold. He's coming into the game, and as he's blowing on his hands, Bogdanovich just curls around a screen, and Kuminga's super late. He has to rush over and fouls him, and it's just like Damian Lee or JTA, say what you want. Like, if they were playing 3 possessions on an entire road trip, like, they were locked in for those 3 possessions.
No doubt.
And that is just, there's just small differences where, but again, we can peel back to your original point. Like, no, that is not like what is all that ails this team right now. They're 3-7 mostly because they're just not playing, their brand of defense.
Well, and we're talking to Anthony Slater here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. And look, I want to get to Wiseman in a second and talk about his development and where he's at. But to your point about being 3-7, the way I look at it, despite all those pitfalls with the youngsters, blowing by defensively, giving up all the points in the first half, and teams shooting nearly 50% in the first half against the Golden State Warriors, Charlotte, they're up 4 with a minute left. Miami, they scored 2 points in the last 5:03. And against Orlando, Steph comes up with 2 big turnovers. Wiggins smokes a layup. So I'm not blaming the starters for the loss. Though that said, the starters had a chance to bring it home, and they're not bringing it home because they're blowing defensive assignments late. They're turning the ball over. At some point, the starters had to take accountability for it. It's not all on them, but they're the money players, Slater. They're the big money guys.
Yeah, and I do think, and I understand this thought process from them, but, like, there's not that much urgency right now. Like, you think they're really that concerned they're 3-7? You think that, Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins and, Draymond are looking around like, I'm not sure if we got it this year. Like, they're just like, we'll turn it on when we need to turn it on. That might mean tonight. I mean, if I had to predict tonight, I think they're going to come out looking good.
Yeah.
I think they're going to kind of put their foot down tonight a little bit. And they were frustrated with themselves. Like, post-game in Charlotte, Draymond is bringing up the stat about, he could count on his hand the amount of times they've blown a 4-point lead in the final minute. Steph's blaming himself for trying to play hero ball. And, I think they know that they mentally need to lock in, but I also at the same time can understand that there is a frustration level from them that every first quarter, on the trip, basically, they're delivering 6-7 point leads in the first 6 minutes, and by the time, they're back together to start the second half, they're down because every time they put the bench in, like, it's a guaranteed minus. And, like, there's just, you can, when they put the first sub in now, you can just kind of sense, everybody's thinking about it. Like, all right, well, it's +6 right now. What's it going to be in about 6 minutes? So I think there's a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, at the end of the day, like, your 35-minute per night players are your most important players, and they do collectively need to play better.
No doubt. And finally, James Wiseman. Obviously, he's been the number one scapegoat for this Warriors fan base. You're on Twitter. You see it. You talk to the fans. We all talk to the fans. Wiseman, look, he hasn't played well. I'll be the first to admit that. Number 2 overall pick, 2020, hasn't played well. He's played in, what is it now, 49 games in the regular season for the Golden State Warriors. Hasn't played well. So what does it mean to him with these rotation changes? Is he going to pick up DMPs? Is he not going to play? Is he going to go back to the G League? Or maybe he's just not a fit with this team. What do you think about James Wiseman? What's your assessment of him so far through the first 10 games?
Yeah, I think there's a chance he doesn't get, I think there's a chance he gets DMPs coming up. I think there's looking at, every lineup combination that everybody's looking at, and, he's obviously a major part of many of the negative units. He hasn't played well. I mean, you kind of alluded to, like, his fit, within the Warriors. They're trying to make him a high-energy backup big. And it doesn't seem that equipped for that at this standpoint, at this point of his career. It's like he's not a dirty work, like, set hard screens, come in, bash around for rebounds. Like, you saw those type of guys on the road trip, right? The Nick Richards in Charlotte, the Isaiah Stewarts. Like, those are the guys that really succeed as, 6 minutes per half, come out. Stewart plays more, but generally, you know what I mean.
Right.
Like 6 minutes per half, they come out, throw their body around, and just do a bunch of small stuff. Looney in a lot of ways is like really fits that role. Now he's a starter on the team for good reason, but Wiseman is just trying to, discover who he is, and obviously he has a long-term hope of, being a high usage, like, post scorer and different stuff like that. And it is tough because on this team, his current role, doesn't really allow for that. And it's kind of an odd fit. And, I don't know if his development will be better just like doing that, but doing it with Santa Cruz for a little while, and maybe that helps them. But it doesn't look great right now. And, even if it's 9 minutes per game, it is kind of weighing them down for about 9 minutes per game.
Right. Yeah, it's not good at all for James Wiseman. Go ahead, Shasky.
Quick little, like 10 seconds or less. At what point in the season would you consider major moves if you were the Warriors? Do you have to be around 500, around the deadline, All-Star break, before then? Like, at what point would you consider, as someone who watches his team in and out, that they need to make some major moves?
Well, win is the deadline, right? That's the checkpoint for all teams across the league. Like, do we need to pivot? Do we need to stick to the plan? Do we not? So deadline is win. What I would consider, it's just going to depend on how it all looks and how all the young players look by then. I don't think there's major move, but, this roster could use a buyout veteran potentially, or, just a couple extra guys at the end of the rotation.
Agreed.
No doubt about
Thanks,
that.
Anthony.
Slater, we'll see you later tonight at Chase Center when the Warriors take on the Kings. Kings feeling good after beating Orlando on Saturday. What? You like this stuff, Anthony. It's not just, hey, they're the best team in the league. There's nothing to write about. There's a lot of things going on with the Golden State Warriors, man. You got to be loving life right now at The Athletic.
Oh, yeah, some stuff going around the Sacramento Kings. I know we didn't get to it, but, we'll see tonight. De'Aaron Fox is good.
Nobody here cares.
No, hey, De'Aaron Fox. I care, right, Slater. I'm on the league pass, baby. I'm watching Magic and Kings on my iPhone. There's fun. One. Kings good.
There's one.
Kings good, man. They're fun. They're fun.
I think they're facing some trouble tonight, though, I will say.
Get right game for the Golden State Warriors. We'll see about that. Cleveland be fun Friday. Cleveland's legit, Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
That's enough of you two spooning over teams no one cares about.
Hey, we'll do it later on today. See, you got to get Shasky. See, Shasky's beating my head over baseball all day long, and I played the game with him for an hour and a half. We talk a little league pass here. There's some good teams out there. Cleveland, Milwaukee's playing well, Dallas. How about Portland beating the Suns on the last-second shot Friday night? Slater, school this guy, man.
Well, Shasky's problem is he's got the baseball mindset. And baseball is a regional sport, right? You only care about your team. That's understandable. Yeah. Basketball, it's 30 teams. It's a much more intermingled league. I watch every team.
Dude, I'm telling you. Utah, how about Utah last night beating the Clippers?
Slater, who's coaching the Orlando Magic right now?
Jamal Mosley.
Yeah, you knew that. Bonte did not.
I did not know that last week. I forgot about it, but I knew about it. I named her. Hey, Anthony, I named her roster 1 through 10 with no Google. I know the players on the court. And how about Utah? Utah, huh?
Hey, Paulo Banchero can't get you excited, Chad?
There you go.
No, he was fine. But guys, dear God, the NBA, no one cares about the Kings. I'm just telling you the truth.
That's disrespectful, Shasky.
No, I'm telling you factually.
I want to talk some, Aaron Judge free agency chatter right now.
Yes.
So move on to that segment. You don't want to talk
When ESPN moves Nick Friedel from Brooklyn to the Sacramento King beat, I will then pay attention.
Slater's doing both beats now. Now you better pay attention.
Hey, there's some buzz down here locally. I know it may not make its way down to SF, but I'm telling you, the cowbells are out for the Mike Brown.
Hey, Slater, I'm with you with the cowbells, baby. Golden One Center, here we come. Kings got something brewing up there, something
special.
They're
playing Sunday, by the way. There's a Warriors Kings rematch Sunday. Y'all should come up.
No, I can't come up for that.
On a Sunday when I'm going to the Charger game?
I actually got.
Who are you kidding?
I got the day off for that one. Sunday night
Niners
football.
Chargers, dog.
I got the day off, Slater. Hey, I'll see you later at Chase Center, man.
All right, fellas.
All right, Anthony Slater, one of the best in the business, man. He's a lot of fun covering the NBA. Of course, the Golden State Warriors.
Ponte.
I don't even know if you could call it a get-right game.
Ponte, can you do me a favor?
What?
Are you going to do this for every team on the schedule? Are you going to do this every team the Warriors play? They're fun, and then start rattling off 9 deep?
Go watch the Cleveland Cavaliers. Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, of course. You got Jared Allen blocking shots, Kevin Love coming off the bench, Dean Wade making plays for the Cavs, JB Bickerstaff. They do this thing after the game where they give out the dog of the day, the junkyard dog of the day, where they give out a chain for the player of the game. Luke Walton's on that bench as an assistant coach. Cavaliers are good. Cavaliers are good, dude. They beat Boston last week. What's the Cavs record right now? I think they got one loss. That's right, 8-1 on the season. Cleveland Cavaliers, 8-1 on the season. They've had some good quality wins. Cavaliers are good. Friday night, I'm telling you, Friday night at Chase Center, that's a game you should go to. Warriors and Cavaliers. One of the better young teams in the league.
I'll go to any Warrior game. I just don't. I love you. I'm just asking you sincerely.
We do this with baseball.
What?
We would do this with baseball. Talk about all these teams and all this talent.
I did not sell you on the Marlins.
Oh, I sell myself on it. That's the problem. You gotta love this.
Jazz Chisholm wearing a hood, and that'll look cool with the chains popping out.
Dude,
and that's about it.
Dude, you could sell me on the Baltimore Orioles.
And he won't even play against lefties.
I loved watching the Orioles down the stretch. A lot of young talent on that team. I love watching the Blue Jays, the Tampa Bay Rays. I like all teams. I watch all teams. I want to see what these teams, how can I pick them apart and make my team better? I'm telling you, man. Telling you. Cleveland Cavaliers, watch Friday night. Go watch their roster and how they play. You're going to be impressed. Utah last night against the Clippers. You're going to be impressed watching that team down the stretch. To go on a 9-0 run in the fourth quarter against the Clippers.
Who's Utah's coach?
There's some new guy from the Boston Celtics, assistant coach. Something.
I have no idea.
Don't remember his name.
Don't know.
I know they have Laurie Markkinen.
Yeah.
I know they have Colin Sexton coming off the bench. I know Mike Conley Jr. is hitting at the point guard spot. I'm telling you, man. Utah Jazz are tough. Utah Jazz are 8-3. Will Hardy, there you go, assistant coach of the Boston Celtics. No, white guy. He comes from the San Antonio system,
in Utah?
Boston Celtics system.
No way.
Yeah.
White guy?
Yeah, they've had some black coaches in Utah.
Shocking.
Ty Corbin. Remember him? Ty Corbin.
I do.
He's now an assistant up in Sacramento, I believe. No. He's in Orlando. Ty Corbin. No, I'm wrong. He's in Charlotte. Ding, 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 next to Steve Clifford in Charlotte. You got to stop hating, man. The NBA's got a good product. A lot of good young teams out there. A lot of good talent. Memphis Grizzlies, Desmond Bane. A lot of good talent, man. Better wake up and pay attention.
Well,
I can't sell you on the Athletic 650 Xfinity Mobile text line. That's a tough sell. Cannot do it. And you guys always say bye-bye Bonte to free time and Baby Chez. Baby Chez is watching ball. She's sitting on my lap saying, ball, put on ball.
Yeah.
Let's go, Baby Chez. Let's go watch the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Boston Celtics. I'm telling you, man, league pass, man. Undefeated. All right, what's coming up on the game? Sponsored by Vote Yes on Proposition 31 and Fremont Bank Full Service Banking, no compromises. More on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because I will not shame the rest of the teams in the league. I will not league shame. I would not shame anybody. The league is fun. Watch all teams. Just don't watch your own team in the bubble. We all watch NFL teams, right? I can tell you on any damn team in the league. Spadoni, what you got? Oh, we got a break? All right, let's break.
Yes on Prop 31 means protecting our kids from nicotine addiction. Vote yes on 31. Ad paid for by Yes on Proposition 31. Committee to Protect California Kids, sponsored by nonprofit health organizations. Committee major funding from Michael R. Bloomberg.
When back to the office means back in traffic.
Blocking the 3 right lanes, multiple emergency crews on the scene.
You can rely on your Northern California Honda Dealers Traffic Center.
On the shoulder now, so that's good. Traffic is getting by.
From your traffic leader, KCBS.
The rumors are swirling.
Randy Miller, NJ.com on the Aaron Judge free agency and situation.
I know Aaron from covering him his entire career. Aaron grew up loving the Giants. I think he's ready to come home, and he also knows that I think he believes the Giants are going to pay him what he's worth.
Can the Giants land Aaron Judge? Find out right here on 95.7 The Game.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Flying Ace, this is Sky Hunter. I've got my compound eyes on the target.
Copy that. You're on his flight path.
I'm going in.
Got him! Nice move, my 4-wing friend.
tasty. That mosquito never saw me coming.
See how dragonflies catch a mid-air meal at Bugs, a new exhibit at the California Academy of Sciences. Explore the secrets of bugs, massive models, and more. Now open. Get tickets at calacademy.org.
Kirby, they're your driveway mechanic, and they bring the shop to you. And our friends over at Kirby just won the Motor Top 20 Award for innovation. Brakes and tire replacements, oil changes, and more. And they've just added Kirby's eco-friendly wash. Barely uses any water, and it makes your car look brand new. They all use biodegradable products that provide the ultimate shine and protection to both the exterior and the interior of your car, all in the ease of your driveway. The ultimate convenience, easy booking, transparent pricing, on-time arrival, service in your driveway. No waiting rooms or coordinating rides, direct access to your mechanic, friendly and reliable service. No middlemen and no upsells. Get $50 off your first oil change. Here's the code. OIL50, OIL50, or use my code JOEWASH to get a free sealant treatment with the purchase of Kirby's eco-friendly wash. Check out Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
In Oakland, showers by the afternoon, highs in the upper 50s.
Weather brought to you by one thing. Install a low-flow shower head and keep water off when brushing teeth or shaving to save water every day. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow.
Score big with Xfinity Internet. It's made to do anything, so you can do anything. Supercharge your home with the game-changing speed of supersonic Wi-Fi. With 3 times more bandwidth, it covers the field and then some. And blocks billions of threats with advanced security that helps keep you protected at home and on the go. If you're keeping score, that's internet that does it all. That's unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas.
This is Kevon Looney. Welcome back to the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Take it away, Bonte.
Loon Dog, presented by Fit 8. We got some breaking news. We're not going to use it. All right. Frank Wright. Out as head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Compiled a 40-33 record as Colts head coach, a job he took in 2018 after McDaniels opted out. Remember, he opted out of that job? That was wild. Yeah. Colts square off against McDaniels and the Raiders this week. So no Frank Wright in Vegas for the Colts when they take on the Raiders. And Frank Wright really, I feel bad because Luck retires, and how many different quarterbacks did they go through? They went through like 6 or 7 different quarterbacks.
Well, the Luck thing notwithstanding, they had many opportunities, and everybody keeps telling me that, Chris Ballard's the best GM in the league. Look what he does. They never got the quarterback right. Mm-hmm. You know, and to your point, like they swung, and I don't know, man. I'm not surprised that he's out. I mean, he was the one that wanted to get Wentz. He bring Wentz, and then 1 year in, they couldn't stand the guy, and they traded him to go away.
Then they bring Matt Ryan in,
and they had Phillip Rivers for a year. Yeah. It's been a nightmare.
But at least with Phillip Rivers, they did advance to the playoffs. Yeah, they lost to Buffalo. But other than that, it was time to go.
I mean, I'm already before the trade deadline, I was seeing rumors that DeForest Buckner could be on the move, which is like what? Like what? Why you acquire him and then you pay him and then you're just going to trade him away and he's been good? I don't know. I just Indianapolis, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But I guess the bigger point is, this thing changes very quickly, and if you don't get the quarterback right,
How excited are you to see Kuminga tonight?
Oh, I'm very excited to see Jonathan Kuminga tonight. But I've been excited to see Jonathan Kuminga for quite some time.
Yeah, no doubt. Here's what Kerr had to say about Kuminga yesterday.
We went into it knowing that he was going to play big minutes. We didn't know how many, but he was playing well. So the 38 just sort of happened, but it wasn't an issue at all. I mean, he looked fine the whole time. We're trying to help him with all the little details that young players need to learn. I think the other night we got to look at some different combinations, which was really important. The first 8-9 games of the year were really about getting our feet underneath us and trying to see what we had with different combinations. And I think we've learned we got to try something different. And so JK will be part of the new rotation, and I'm excited to play him. And he's just got to keep doing what he's doing.
So it's time to make a change. 10 games in, a tweak to the rotation. And you just heard from Anthony Slater, our 95.7 Game insider. Wiseman's probably going to pick up a lot of DNPs. I don't know how that makes you feel, but it's obvious he's not ready to play. He's not ready to play at this level. I think there's talent, but the instincts are just a little slow, a little late. The screen setting, as Slater said, and we've been on this, he doesn't set good screens, which you have to do as a big in this offense. He's just not ready to go. And so is it a G League stint? Because we know Ryan Rollins and Patrick Baldwin Jr. are back down in Santa Cruz where they're going to get work. Does Wiseman need the G League? And will the G League even help him? I know the G League helped Jordan Poole. They're different players, different positions. There's a dilemma here with James Wiseman moving forward. And him not playing, does that benefit him? I don't think so. He needs to play. Is practice going to get him up to speed? I have no idea. Maybe it's just a lost cause in this situation with James Wiseman and the Golden State Warriors. Maybe it's too early to say that. But he is going to pick up DNPs, and I know that's probably not the best thing for his development, but here we are. You got to make a move. You got to make a move, and the move is to play Jonathan Kuminga. And Kuminga, I'm eager to see him tonight.
Well, and we'll see how long that lasts. I mean, that could be also rife with a lot of mistakes. Mm-hmm. I mean, you never know. This thing about like this obsession, they're going to change up the rotations immediately. Like they're constantly tinkering certain rotations based on availability, form, things like that. So I'm not all up in arms. I think this is healthy. This is part of the evolution of a season. Guys play themselves in and out of rotations. They play themselves into opportunities. To just grandfather X amount of minutes for an individual who's young on any team is probably doing a disservice. You got to play who plays well. You got to play who earns it. And so maybe a couple of DMPs, and then he goes in for a minute or two at a time just to see if he can do anything. Like we did that with Bielitsa last year. I think people forget. Like Bia would go in there and he'd be like, "Oh, Bia can't play tonight."
Yeah,
and
this isn't his night.
Exactly. You just yank him, and it was no big deal, right? And
you also did that with Gary Payton II at times, even though Gary Payton II had a lot of impact on last year's championship. He didn't play every single minute of every single game. Yeah, exactly.
They didn't throw him on every single defender.
Exactly.
Whoa, that's news to me. Because the way people were talking these last couple of weeks, I'd have thought he was
going to the Hall of Fame.
I mean, geez, Louise. No, but and look, Kuminga's going to make mistakes, but I'm here for seeing the young guys play a little here and there. And when they make mistakes, and if they have to come off the court, then so be it. Like this is about trying to get the big club, the overall team, to win. I think we're obsessing too much about the young players, and I think I'm more worried about, as you talk about Wiseman and Kuminga's minutes, and those matter. I'm more worried about what the hell is going on with Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole's struggling big time, and the starters defensively have been blown by a lot. Teams are blowing by these guys getting to the rim, creating open shots. They are. Is Father Time hitting some of these hitting some of these players like Clay, Wiggins, or Draymond and Steph defensively? I don't know. I'm not going to say that. The starters have been really good when it comes to offensive basketball and getting buckets and putting pressure on the other team. But Wiseman, Kuminga, and now Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is a big-time worry, and it feels like we scapegoated Wiseman. Look, I'm here to say Wiseman has not been good. Wiseman needs a lot of work, and it may not help. It may not help. It may just be a lost cause. But you know what? Jordan Poole, he got $123 million guaranteed invested in him. And right now, he doesn't look like a $123 million player. That's just, it is what it is.
Look, I'm not trying to jump the gun. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm asking the question out loud. Do you think if it does get ugly and it goes awry, would they have the gumption to be able to make a major move?
Shasky, we brought this up last Monday.
And that could be one of the youngsters. That could be one of the seminal pillars of the organization. It doesn't have to be some minor move. I'm talking big move.
We brought it up last week because I think the situation in Brooklyn, the situation in Philly is something we should monitor.
Yeah.
They got some players who may be disgruntled and may want out. And if the Warriors are just treading water, and we know how much tax Joe Lacob and Peter Guber are paying for this basketball team. We know how much Steph Curry wants that 5th championship. We know how much Steve Kerr wants to win, and Draymond wants to win, and Klay Thompson wants to win, and Andrew Wiggins wants more champagne in his life. Looney wants ring number 4. You may have to do something. You may have to abort this mission of having 2 timelines and make a move. This is why it's going to be fun to see Kuminga play extended minutes. It's a big spot for him moving forward. But I want to play something from Kurt, and we'll get to the lines in just a second.
I was going to ask you a question.
What's up?
Before you do that. Because you've been talking about the Kevin Durant trade, and we always it's Wiggins or it's Draymond. I'm not saying that you wouldn't make another move, because I don't know if KD and Draymond could coexist. If Clay is in a deal for KD, any deal, just hypotheticals, is that a no-go for you no matter what?
Well, who are you going to replace with that shooting?
I'm just asking you. Maybe you get Seth Curry in that deal coming back. Not that he's a perfect replacement in any sense. He has like a tiny little offset. Maybe Moody plays a little more at the 2. Maybe Wiggins plays the 2. I don't know. I'm asking you out loud. If Clay is in a Kevin Durant deal, is that a deal breaker for you?
It depends on what it looks like.
That's kind of crazy to hear you say that out loud.
Depends what it looks like. But I need Clay's post defense. Clay's not my problem right now.
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying to get a Kevin Durant type player.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, just speaking about Kevin Durant sounds a little ridiculous, right? I brought it up last week, but it is a little ridiculous right now. I don't know. I'd have to think about that because you kept talking to me, well, if you get Kevin Durant, you're going to miss on defense. And right now, believe it or not, Clay is one of your better post defenders. He's one of your better defenders on this basketball team right now.
Yeah.
On the team that's not playing defense at all.
Yeah, but if you're going to say he's a post defender and not a perimeter defender, then we can have a different argument. But, I'm just asking out loud. I'm just throwing this out there because, I'm watching the youngsters play on Friday night, and I'm saying to myself, people wouldn't want to hear this, but I'm watching, I'm going, the young guys are playing with some joy, and I know there's going to be a lot of mistakes, and no one wants to do this because you got to beat the champs before you disassemble them. I don't know, man. I think a major shakeup is in the works. Not this year, maybe. Maybe it's they got to lose.
Maybe it's in the offseason. Maybe it's in the offseason. You can't start moving around pieces. And I think Bob Myers and Joe Lacob at the end of the day will stay the course saying, well, Draymond, Steph, and Clay under Steve Kerr haven't lost a series in the Western Conference. Heck, they haven't lost a series when they've all started together. Think about that. Steph, Clay, and Dre,
no doubt,
when they started together, have never lost a playoff series.
I could say the same for Steph and KD being together.
You can.
You know what I mean?
You can. But those three, that trio, you've gone through a lot of wars with them. You just don't break that up. And the chemistry that Steph and Clay has, the Splash Brothers, the best shooting backcourt that we've possibly ever seen. Yeah, I don't know about that. Here's Kerr on Wiseman.
I'm just throwing it out there.
It's going to take a lot of reps and time, but I see a really talented young guy who's eager to learn, who is committed to the team, who has overcome an awful lot to get to this point, dealing with his injury for over a year. So he knows how to overcome adversity. Now we have to help him because modern life is unforgiving, and people don't take into account organic growth, and everyone wants results right now. It's not going to be that way, especially for a big guy with very little experience. It takes a little longer for big guys to adjust to the NBA game, and if you play 3 college games, then you got a lot more to learn. So he's got plenty to learn, but he's a willing learner, and we're going to take our time with him, and I have no doubt long term he's going to be a really good player.
It's going to take a while. And I look at, it's funny, we kept talking about Orlando. Bobo. How many people gave up on Bobo?
Everyone.
Bobo's not playing bad basketball. I know he didn't play well against the Golden State Warriors, but he bounced back against the Kings. Need time. But how much time does this fan base want to give James Wiseman? How much time does Bob Myers and Steve Kerr want to give James Wiseman?
In one short offseason, we went from destroying every second Damian Lee stepped onto a court to now longing for him like he was, Byron Scott or, Vinny the Microwave Johnson coming off the bench. I mean, it's crazy. This Warrior fan base is out of their minds, and I get it. This is a champion, and you want to win every single year. So patience, none. I thought the line of life is unforgiving right now in the current climate was one of the most profound things I've ever heard. Because he's right, and it just subtract sports, subtract Wiseman, just life. Life is so unforgiving. You do something on the internet, it's forever. You're canceled. You're done, forever. Right? That's the way society is now.
That's how it is, though, in sports.
No doubt.
Patience. Football. Think about the way we talk about the 49ers.
Trey Lance played 5 quarters. We're ready to throw him out. Okay? Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, whoever it is, they get full years and they show a little bit of development, and then everybody instantly snaps and they're like, look how good they look now. The Niners made the wrong decision. Well, hold up. Were you willing to go through the growing process of seeing the kid struggle and barely throw for 100 yards multiple times?
We went through it with
to get to the labor?
We went through it with Klay Thompson when he struggled. We had the whole thing with Klay-ups and shot selection. And now look at Klay. He's walking into the Hall of Fame. I'm thinking about that trade package with Kevin Durant. The more I think about it, Klay can't be part of that deal. I need Klay Thompson first. Because you need a shooter who's going to be in that corner on the wing, hypothetically. And it's ridiculous to even think about it.
It's not ridiculous, though.
No, I'm talking about it's ridiculous to talk about Kevin Durant.
No, I'm looking at the Nets situation, and I listened to Zach Lowe and Nick Friedel over the weekend on a long podcast, and they're basically saying the Nets are in such a no-win situation that Bobby Marks feels that they've lost control of the entire organization, and they have no other thing but to literally pivot and just dump everything.
So you go get Kevin Durant, hypothetically, where I'm going at here.
Yeah.
And you have Steph and Kevin Durant. And you may have Andrew Wiggins. You don't want Klay Thompson up there spotting up for threes?
No, I would.
With his size and strength?
No, I would want to keep Klay Thompson. I'm trying to play the other side of this and saying, if I'm the Nets, maybe I view Draymond's contract as one of those ones I don't want him because he's going to opt out and leave me. Maybe I do want the 2 years of Klay Thompson because then I can then flip that to another team. Again, I'm just thinking outside the box.
So last week when I brought this up, speaking of Brooklyn Nets, I don't know if they want a Klay Thompson for 2 years because of the contract. If the Nets are going to blow it up, they're going to blow it all the way up.
Yeah, but
they're going to want young assets. draft picks.
Yes.
And they're not going to want to take back a lot of money.
No, but what if you take back, and I was listening to Zach Lowe saying, if you take back Draymond Green and he opts out on you, you lose him for nothing. If you take back somebody who has 1 or 2 years or is desirable by other competitors, not only do you get the young assets in the Kevin Durant trade, but then you would able flip that other money for more young assets.
You could.
It's just a thought.
But I think Brooklyn, I think they just say, you know what? Draymond can walk. Draymond can walk.
Yeah.
How much are you really going to get for Draymond Green? Let's go to the lines here. Rat-a-tat-tat.
I just feel like they've got bigger issues than just young guys.
It's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues with this team.
Tonight's going to tell us a lot.
Well, is it? I think Friday's going to tell us a lot. I think Friday against the Cavaliers. You beat the Kings. I mean, come on.
Kings always play them tough.
The Kings are the Kings.
You just sold me on the Kings 20 minutes ago.
No. I sold you on League Pass and watching other teams.
But
like the Cavaliers.
This guy just sold me on every team in the league.
I sold you on the Cavaliers.
And then
I told
says,
you
Kings.
You laughed at me and mocked me for saying the Cavaliers are good. They're 8-1.
I didn't even mind.
You talked your ass.
I said, you're hyped.
But I didn't know. The Kings do have a lot of young talent.
I'll back off.
Rob and San Bruno.
It was a gutsy win over Orlando. It was gutsy.
So they were down like 20. They were down 20 and rallied in that basketball game. It takes a lot of heart. Saturday, last game of a road trip, you're down 20 in Orlando. To hell with this. Let's fly back to the Bay Area and give up on this game. Those jokers came all the way back and stole it in overtime. They get credit for that. It's a big-time win for the Kings.
They'll still be a 12 seed.
That's fine. Hey, they're above the Warriors right now.
They are.
Keep laughing.
They are.
Rob and San Bruno.
I'm a little worried about tonight.
Rob, what's happening?
What's going on, fellas? Look, man, we need to just, first of all, it took this long for Steve Kerr to realize Jay can't be playing. I don't know what's wrong with the guy. But anyway, I just think y'all trade Wiseman because this offense isn't for Wiseman. Wiseman has to play. He has to go out there and play. And y'all telling me one of them set screens, he's not Kevon Looney. Some guys are built different. He's a guy that's built to score and do other things. I think we try to make him into a role player. And his talent says he's not a role player. He's not Kevon Looney or Draymond. So that's my point. And then I got one more point. I just feel like you trade Klay Thompson, your championship window is done. Let's say if you do trade Klay for Kevin Durant, you instantly turn into an ISO-laden team.
That's true.
Warriors fans don't want that. So you got to realize this team is built off two guys. Klay and Steph's ability to shoot and move around and be threatened, and everybody else work off of that. You bring Kevin Durant here, straight ISO.
Well, let me, Rob, let me interrupt you because everyone thought that about the Nets offense, and they did implement Bruce Brown as a diver, and they did a lot of little wrinkles in terms of their pick and roll. Now they ran a ton of pick and roll, and they did go your turn, my turn. They did
a ton of ISO,
but they also did some adjustments offensively, and they were playing a decent brand of basketball at times. So I get what you're saying. It's not wrong. Continue.
They got swept. Well,
they would have won the year prior. They would have won the year prior, and his foot was on the line.
I'm just saying the Warriors' offense is built off them two guys. Everybody play off of them. If you bring Kevin Durant, take Klay off of where, Kevin Durant instantly takes over because he's the only guy who can really get a bucket. And then you look at it, who else is going to run off screen? Just Klay? Just Curry. You can double Curry and force KD to go ISO all day long, and you're not going to win nothing. Look what he's doing now. He ISOing all game, and they ass.
Well,
so it's like, but
if they lose Draymond, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but if they lose Draymond, then they lose a big piece of their defensive versatility. I'm looking at this team right now, B, and I know it's early, and they don't feel like a championship team.
Not right now.
It doesn't even feel close.
Not right now, but it's a lot of basketball to be played.
That is true.
A lot of basketball to be played, but I'm telling you, monitor the situations of Brooklyn and Philadelphia. There could be some things happening, and the Warriors have enough talent, I think, that could be in play. They have some things that could be in play to maybe make a move for a big time. Now, it sounds crazy right now. Let's see where the Warriors are around the trade deadline. But you like that. You're all in, KD. I like that.
Well, I listened to Zach Lowe, who covers the league for a long time, and Nick Friedel, who's in that situation, and they're basically saying that, this thing's done. They're blowing this entire thing up.
Didn't I say that last week?
Yeah, you were right. And then to hear
I should have been on the podcast.
You should have been. And to hear other credible people like yourself who are tapped in say the same thing, I said, all right. This thing has major legs. Not that it didn't, but instead of two legs, it's got spider legs.
But let's be honest. The other reason why it has major legs is because Steph and the Rolling Stones said that there was conversations about Kevin Durant. That's the only reason why I brought it up.
And they're not kumbaya. Let's call it what it is. Like, everyone could say that there's not some chemistry issue. I watched Friday night. It felt very different than the other games. And it's the young guys, and there's nothing to lose and all that. You can't tell me that there's just not something off.
No,
there is.
Big time. TC, Sacramento, what's happening?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Bonte Shasky. How y'all doing, bro?
What's up, man?
I'm good.
Man, just chilling, man. I just got a few things. You know, I'm a Kings fan, man, out here in Sac, man. I mean, if y'all ready to give up on Wiseman, I mean, shit, we'll trade y'all.
Oh, man, TC, you got to stop cursing,
You'll
man.
trade us who? Sabonis?
She does Sabonis play defense? Sabonis would be a nice player. He
does not play defense.
He does not play defense
Narrator,
at all.
he does not play defense.
He does not play defense at all. Time to take calls? Can we do it now? No, we can't? 1 second? All right, Oscar in Stockton. Oscar, what's happening? We got a dope butt, man. We got a delay.
What's going on, Bonte?
What's up, Oscar?
What's happening with you guys?
We're good.
Man, just hanging, man. Hey, I just want to say one thing, man. You're doing a good job on TV. I give y'all your credit. I'm a long-time Bay Area fan. I grew up in Oakland. Nice. I go way back when Al was them. So my whole thing is that everybody, we can't panic. Steve Kerr did the thing of the night. He set the 4 starters down and played the youngsters to see what we got. Like I said, we lost 5 players off the bench. Now we seeing that. So we got young kids on the bench. Warriors got a good coaching staff. Don't panic. I'm going to tell you right now. Watch the game plan that we do now. We don't have to trade right now. Wiseman, he's not playing right now, but they may send him down to get his timing up. But I'm going to tell you right now, J.K. and Moody and Ty Jerome, tell you right now, the Warriors are going to start going on the winning streak. So everybody, just relax, man.
Well,
just relax.
The Ty Jerome thing. Look at
Ty Jerome played well. 12 points fourth quarter Friday night.
Let me. I'll admit. I'll raise my hand. Ty, I was a little too quick to crush you. He fits. Look, it might not be perfect as a third point guard off the bench. He's fine. Like, he fits what they're trying to do. He moves the ball. He can hit a 3 every now and then. He tries on defense. Yeah, he's physically limited, but he understands how to play the game.
You know, I wish we spent more time. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. The state of the Warrior fan. How are they feeling right now? I see the segment on Twitter, not feeling good at all. I've seen people blame the ownership group or blame Bob Myers because they did lose some bench pieces. You lost Otto Porter Jr., who's not playing right now for Toronto. You lost Gary Payton II, who's not playing right now for Portland. You lost Bielitsa, who's back in Europe. You lost some vets. Damian Lee. I never thought I'd see the day where people were begging for Damian Lee.
Bro, the last Bielitsa, who we did a song about, and then people destroyed us throughout the year whenever we play the song, and he obviously didn't look good. Right. People are pining for him.
You know, Bielitsa, JTA, Lakers can't win a game. People were begging for JTA.
I saw a video from JTA yesterday that was pretty cool. It was him giving Laker tickets to a little boy on his 12th birthday.
That was cool.
It was really cool. And it was
too.
like, cool. JTA, he just gets it.
But something Friday I was talking to Festus about this Friday. And a caller just brought it up. The joy on the bench. The youngster, like, Steph's hitting threes, and you don't see that Mo Spates, that Barbosa, that Fest.
Because you have a bunch of guys that are trying to prove that they belong in the NBA, not that, I've accepted to being a glue guy. I've accepted to being a dirty work guy.
Now, it's not everything, the whole being on the bench, and I get the NBA has new rules for the bench and stuff like that. But there is like that fun.
Did you see Steph Friday night doing that?
Yeah, I loved it.
Steph was very
engaged.
The game. He was into the game for the youngsters.
Like last year when the youngsters won in San Antonio, won in Detroit. You saw Steph jumping up and down on the bench.
I didn't see other people. Not that they didn't. I just didn't see them. I did notice Steph Curry though.
Let's take one more call. Austin, Redwood City, and then we'll flex. Austin, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Yeah. Not much. Hey, look, man, I know what we missed. We missed Mike Brown and the defensive president and Steve Kerr here on the bench, helping them out where everybody needs to be. With that being said, man, we missed out on veterans. We should have never picked up Michael Green. I don't want to see another minute that he plays. And also, hey, shut up. Let's hit up Mike Brown for a trade. Let's bring Harrison Barnes back. Get his just score one more run at it, a couple more runs at it. But that's all I got. What do y'all think about Harrison Barnes coming back?
I'm going to pass on HB. I'm going to pass on that. That contract, I'm going to pass on Harrison Barnes. Andrew Wiggins, hey, yeah, I'm good. I'll just say that.
He's making $21 million a year.
Yeah, I'm good off HB. Been down that road before. Let's flex.